Hokage. Transmigrated into Naruto with a critical strike system. Chapter 61. You successfully aroused Nine-Tails Kurama's unimaginable emotions. The critical strike was 60 times, and you got the magic weapon of the fox fur coat. Naruto. I am so moved by myself, you come to tear me down. Fox fur coat. Although Nine-Tails is not a fox, but his appearance is like a fox, God knows how I feel when I wear him. Won't go berserk. Subconsciously, he clicked on the light group and glanced at the information, and immediately took a deep breath. Fox fur coat. Magic instrument. A kind of fashionable clothes in the world of cultivating immortals, which can avoid dust and have weak defense. Naruto. Ah, really fragrant. Fortunately, it is only for men, otherwise, if it is for women, it will be miserable, because this thing is only one, and he seems to have a lot of girlfriends. For the first time, I feel that it is a very melancholy thing to have so many girlfriends. Naruto is melancholy. Hey, Nine-Tails, can you tell me about your old stalwart pieces? Stop talking, I'm chatting with you. Naruto thought about it. He's full of energy now, not sleepy at all, and eager to hear Nine-Tails talk. Nine-Tails has lived in the ninja world for so many years, so he must know a lot of things, a lot of knowledge. He can listen to stories. Naruto said that he likes listening to stories the most. It's a pity that Nine-Tails didn't care about him, and still slept with his eyes closed. He understood now that the seal should have been broken by Naruto's sage body, not someone else. In other words, it is estimated that it is the end now. And even if there is still a threshold in front of unblocking. Looking at the seal on the cage, Nine-Tails sneered, this is the real seal, and this seal cannot be unsealed unless it is torn off. Forget it, I'll continue to sleep. But this kid is so annoying. Nine-Tails almost vomited blood. What kind of crazy questions are you asking? My past feats. I was pressed and beaten by first generation. I was beaten by that Uchiha Madara with his eyes. I was sealed in Uzumaki Mito's body, and then entered Uzumaki Kukina's body. Now, I, Nine-Tails Kurama, can do it inside your little brat. This is my great feat. Nine-Tails roared inside. But he would never say anything about losing people, absolutely. You have successfully aroused Nine-Tails Kurama's outrageous emotions. The critical strike is 10,000 times, and you get the fairy eye +5. Naruto. What did I say to make you so angry? Didn't I just ask a few questions? The idea of Nine-Tails is really wonderful. Naruto shut up resentfully, no more. After asking, it is estimated that Nine-Tails will go berserk, which is not worth the loss. Then I'll go first, and I'll come in later to chat and joke with you. Let me tell you, I'm old, and you'll know from now on that what I said is true. Also, Nine-Tails, I really want to be friends with you. Goodbye. Naruto waved his hand, turned around and left smartly, returned to the same road, and gradually drifted away. Nine-Tails narrowed his eyes, and looked at Naruto, who was going away in a strange way. His mind was a little lacking, and now he didn't understand why the kid in front of him was not afraid of him, but wanted to be friends with him instead. It was really unbelievable. People in the past wanted to kill him, or just wanted to control him. And this kid just now. Nine-Tails took a deep look at Naruto's back. The illusion must be that this person has some ulterior purpose. Huh. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes, staring blankly at the stars outside. The scene just now seemed to be in a dream. But he knew that it was a real experience. He really entered the sealed space and saw Nine-Tails. Nine-Tails still looks so tsundere, so funny. A smile appeared on Naruto's face. You have successfully aroused Nine-Tails' arrogant emotions. The critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have gained control over chakra. You succeeded with Nine-Tails Kurama's curious emotions, 11 times the critical strike, and gained stamina control. Naruto. Be curious, be curious. Curiosity is the beginning of a person's fall. Nine-Tails, we will definitely be very good friends, just like the original book. Naruto got up and walked to the window, looking at the misty moonlight. Now he is very energetic and can't sleep. Look at today's harvest. First up is this, Fox's Beauty Cream. Taking out a bottle of very delicate skin cream, Naruto looked at it. It was made by a demon cultivator called Modern Cultivation World, and the business was very good. Apparently, it worked out great. So, who should this thing be given to? It can't be separated, can it? Naruto dragged his chin in thought, and finally decided to keep it at his home, and let them use it for himself. If it works well, they will like it. It would be nice if there were 3 bottles. Naruto sighed and continued to browse through the harvest. He had already seen the wish-fulfilling stone and so on, and the remaining one was the magic weapon of the fox fur coat. It is said to be a coat, but it is actually very thin, but it is very warm, the kind of magic weapon that is warm in winter and cool in summer. Moreover, it is dust-proof and does not need to be washed. That means I can wear them to death if I want to. Recognize the Lord by dripping blood. Good guy, there is no sense of disobedience when the things of cultivating immortals come here. Naruto was startled, gritted his teeth, and dripped some blood into it. The next moment, Naruto seemed to have a connection with the fox fur coat in the dark, and the shackles fell on him as soon as he moved. I looked in the mirror. It fits my temperament perfectly. Sharp, Naruto felt more handsome and attractive in this dress. By the way, wish-fulfilling stone. Naruto suddenly took out the wish-fulfilling stone, looked at it, and directly punched it into the clothes with a gritted teeth. Compared with weapons, Naruto thinks his temperament is more important. Dressing is also more important. Temperament is everything. The strength has improved fast enough, there is no rush. What's more, this clothes can also have a weak defensive ability. With Rui Stone added, it is unpredictable, and you can tailor all kinds of clothes for yourself. This is the perfect dress in my mind. Naruto's thoughts flickered, and various clothes changed one after another, making Naruto secretly complacent. It would be great if we can continue to get these two items in the future and they are women's models. No, with wish-fulfilling stones, you don't need to worry about men's and women's clothing. Hinata, the three of them, wearing clothes with the ability to change as one wishes, suddenly appeared in Naruto's mind, and then thought of various movements, various postures, and various strange costumes. Hiss. Oops, nosebleed. Naruto covered his nose with a warm current, quickly took out a piece of paper from the side and wiped it casually. Looking at himself by the window, Naruto couldn't help sighing, I'm really angry now. Now I can't sleep even more, right? No more chopping, bye, come out. Naruto came to the next door in the dark. Zabujan and Bye-Bye came out with sleepy eyes, looked at Naruto strangely. It's so late, what are you going to do? Don't forget that you have to take the Chunin exam tomorrow. I cannot sleep. Let's fight the landlord. Quote. White. The eyes of the two were straightened, and they almost cursed if they didn't cut them off. It has nothing to do with us if you can't fall asleep. You insist on waking us up at night to play Dudiju with you. What does fight the landlord mean? This is it. CJBD playing cards. Fortunately, Naruto has already figured out this way of playing cards, but he did not announce it. In the dead of night, he created 3 shadow clones to play by himself. But it's really boring. Because it's all about myself, it doesn't feel interesting. Now that there are Zabujan and Bai hired by him, why should they play with him? Naruto decisively came over and pulled them to play together. This is quite interesting. Zaibucho frowned, exchanged a glance with Bai, and sighed helplessly. Now that Naruto is an employer, they should not refuse within their ability. Besides, it's just playing cards, and it looks very interesting. But this night's, you have successfully aroused the emotion of the ghost man's resentment, the critical strike is tripled, and the skill of the god of gamblers has been obtained. You have successfully aroused the emotion of Bai resentment, quadruple the critical hit, and quadruple the bonus of gambling luck. Naruto, am I going to heaven? Well, I am a 3 good youth, pornography, gambling and drugs have nothing to do with me. Naruto said silently in his heart, suppressing the imminent thoughts in his heart, with a smile on his face. Come to my house, I will treat you to eat. The two had no choice but to keep up. Hey, Naruto, why do you seem to have a nosebleed? It's okay, it's just ketchup. God ketchup. The two were speechless. Do you think we are 3-year-olds, who can't tell the difference between nosebleeds and ketchup? Suddenly, Buzan and Bai looked at each other, and the two smiled, obviously thinking of something, with extremely subtle expressions. To 5. To 7. Wangza. I said Naruto, you are so lucky, aren't you? The 3 of them formed a circle, with some grilled meat and water of spiritual energy on the side, and some snacks left over. At this moment, the 3 of them were in high spirits. Naruto was furious, Shiro and Zabujan were shocked by the power of the snacks in Naruto's mouth. You have successfully aroused the shocking emotions of the ghost man Zabujan, the critical strike is 100 times, and the monster meat plus 100 is obtained. You have successfully aroused Bai's shocking emotions, the critical strike is 49 times, and the ability to resist beating is +3. Naruto smiled without saying a word. Sorry, I just used a cheater. 4 times luck, you can't stop it. However, this title is similar and can be removed. After playing a few games of Naruto, I found it boring, so I removed it directly. This luck is too heaven-defying to play. This thing is not interesting at all. Naruto, tomorrow is the second exam of the Chunin exam. I've heard of the Forest of Death. You need to raise the earth coiling axis. It depends on your luck. Yeah, the team for the Chunin exam doesn't seem to be long. The Forest of Death is so big, it will be miserable if we can't touch you. He didn't take another look at Naruto. The news about today's exam got out later, and he also heard about it. It was simply a tragedy in the world. This more annoyed than High really 6. He dared to use this move despite the many ninja exams, and third Hokage didn't object. What a ghost. Luck is also part of this exam. Luck. Naruto smiled. In the face of absolute strength, luck has to stand aside. If you really didn't meet me, you would speed up and block the door at the end of the Death Forest, blocking the road and robbing. The king of the mountain is my favorite. Do not chop again. White. The two looked at Naruto in astonishment. You can think of this idea, are you a devil? You have successfully aroused the emotion of amazement of Zabujan, the critical strike is 16 times, and you have obtained an energy fort. You successfully aroused Bai's panic, tripled the critical strike, and obtained the water of spiritual energy. Well, energy fort. Naruto was playing cards in his hand, and as soon as he thought about it, the ability of this energy fort appeared in his heart. Energy fort. An offensive weapon in a certain magical world. Provide enough energy, it can exert powerful power. Naruto, isn't this an energy cannon? And it looks like chakra can be used too. Hiss. Naruto's eyes suddenly sparkled. He had a lot of chakra, and with the addition of 9 tails chakra, the sum of the two was quite sufficient. If this fort is set up, I don't know how powerful it is. Naruto touched his chin, and a smile appeared on his face. Yuenmong's second Chunin exam is interesting. Hey. Bujin and Bai looked at each other again, and it was this kind of smile again. The two shivered, mourning silently for some people in their hearts. I don't know who is going to be abused, congratulate you in advance, no, mourn for you in advance. There is a high probability that the group of people who took the Chunin exam did not escape. At the same time, the night is dark and windy. In a corner of Konoha village, Yakushi Kabuto quietly stood there, and after a while, a figure gradually emerged. Do, what can I do for you? Master Orochimaru, I'm sorry to disturb you late at night, because it's still safe at this time. Yakushi Kabuto pushed his glasses and looked at Orochimaru solemnly. This time enter the Forest of Death, be careful Uzumaki Naruto. Oh, boy, I don't feel right. Based on my instincts as a spy and intelligence ninja, he is a very scary kid. Orochimaru spat out the snake letter and looked at Yakushi Kabuto with interest. It was the first time he had seen such an expression. I am looking forward to meeting Uzumaki Naruto for the first time in a real sense. Do was silent. Seeing Orochimaru-sama seems to be more interested in Uzumaki Naruto, which is not so good. But there was a big gap between him and Orochimaru, and he knew that. Perhaps Master Orochimaru is not afraid. Yes, what is he afraid of with Master Orochimaru's ability? What should be afraid of is Sasuke, and it is Naruto. Thinking of this, Yakushi Kabuto felt relieved. Wait for tomorrow. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's deep curiosity, hit 100 times critically, and gained the ability to shed skin. Naruto looked at the ability in front of him speechlessly. It is a magical ability to repair injuries, but Naruto feels that he can't use it. Isn't this the ability of things like snakes? It looks disgusting. Throw it directly into the space and ignore it. Keep playing. In a blink of an eye, the sky brightened. They were shocked to find out that they had been fighting landlords all night before they knew it. The time flies by so fast. Well, my stomach is also very full. I don't need to eat breakfast. I'll go to the Death Forest first. You can pack up and leave directly. Naruto dodges and runs away directly. Zabujan and Bai were left in astonishment. Looking at the messy room in front of them, the two fell silent. Hey, Uzumaki Naruto, why is he always like this every time? No more cursing. The two had no choice but to fight. Naruto had already left, and it was unreasonable not to clean up after eating so many good things from him. But why do I always feel aggrieved inside? You have successfully aroused the ghost's aggrieved emotions, doubled the crit, and obtained the aura water with a little more aura. You have successfully aroused Bai's aggrieved emotions, tripled the critical strike, and obtained a little more aura green vegetables. Naruto, who was jumping rapidly, was stunned for a moment, and he took a casual look. It was nothing more than a little better than the previous one, but there was no difference. Maybe the taste gets better and the effect gets better. But this has lost its effect on him, and it will work better on others. In a blink of an eye, Naruto didn't care about these. At this moment he had arrived at the outskirts of the Death Forest, and at this moment, ninjas in 2s and 3s were already waiting here. Among them, Mitarashi Anko is embracing his hands and looking at them coldly. There are a few ninjas beside it. Naruto didn't know him, so he was probably transferred from somewhere to do the math. Naruto, here, it's really early for you to come. Seeing little Sakura waving, Naruto went straight over and glanced at Sasuke and little Sakura. Sasuke glanced at Naruto faintly, and looked behind Naruto, where 3 people came slowly. Sunagakers, very strong. Sasuke has always cherished words like gold, but now he explained, especially the short guy in the middle, with a ninja of love carved on his face, it's scary. You see it. Naruto was surprised. Sasuke was a little surprised, you know. Well, he's strong and cruel. Then be careful. Little Sakura looked nervously at the 3 people who came over, her eyes full of vigilance. She heard what Sasuke and Naruto said just now. These 3 are very strong and they are rivals. Uzumaki Naruto, looking forward to meeting you. Now, the 3 had come to Naruto. Gaara showed a cruel smile. It's better not to fall into my hands. Kankuro is expressionless. He has become a Buddha. These days, he also inquired about the strength of Konoha Shinobi, and he was shocked. This Uzumaki Naruto was so evil in school. And third Hokage didn't intend to hide anything at all, and directly announced Naruto's record of defeating the ghost. This worries Kankuro even more. Can Gaara really defeat Vortex Naruto? Yo, handsome boy, we meet again. Temari was still fanned by this big fan, and greeted Naruto with a smile. Although they came for Konoha's collapse plan, everyone is still a competitor now, and healthy competition will help improve their strength. Nothing wrong. Hey, lovely little sister, we meet again. When will we have dinner together? Let's talk about it after you survive. That's a good relationship. I will definitely invite you after the Chunin exam. Temari smiled, waited until after the Chunin exam whether there will be Konoha village or not, and invited me to dinner. Tisk. Temari brushed it off casually. This person just values my body, cut it, he is a big kid. Naruto didn't care either, and stood aside with a smile on his face. Sasuke and little Sakura glanced at Temari, then at Naruto, and they were silent. You have successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's speechless emotions, triple the critical strike, and get fire style unkillable technique power +1/1. You successfully aroused Haruno Sakura's speechless emotions, 5 times the critical strike, and gained chakra control +1. Okay, it seems that everyone is here. At this time, Mitarashi Anko clapped his hands, attracted the attention of all the ninjas, and said with a smile, I will preside over the second Chunin exam today. It's actually very simple. Take a scroll from me and set off, travel through the Death Forest, collect the Kishin Earth Coiling Scroll and pass through the Death Forest to count as your pass. Remember, in the forest, you can fight freely. Collect scrolls as much as possible. Mitarashi Anko smiled strangely. It means that at least half of the teams among you will be eliminated. All the ninjas present, except for a few, all changed their faces when they heard the words. Another pervert assessment requirement. Could it be that the people in Konoha village just wanted to eliminate them so much, all these hell tests? You can't relax a little bit. Alright, come and get the scrolls. All go. In the 7th class, little Sakura volunteered, went up and took out a scroll at random, spread it out, and there was a big word, TN. Scroll of the Sky, which means we only need to get the scroll of the earth to clear the Death Forest. Little Sakura shook the scroll in her hand and said in a low voice, it's just that the Death Forest is so big, if we are unlucky, we will be eliminated. Don't worry, I'm here. Naruto smiled lightly. Let's go, first enter the Death Forest. Sasuke didn't speak, but stepped up to follow, followed by little Sakura, and the figures of the 3 quickly disappeared into the Death Forest. As soon as he walked into the Death Forest, Naruto felt a coolness blowing on his face. It's a nice place to live in the summer. It's useless to say these things, it's better to choose a direction to find out if you can meet the team. Not in a hurry. We can get through quickly and stop them at the end. Good idea. Sasuke's eyes lit up. This is a good way, let's wait for work. Quote. But this requires absolute strength. One bad move will lose the scroll in our hands. Little Sakura was a little worried. Little Sakura is right to be worried. Sasuke was silent. It is easy to understand that the ninja teams who can appear at the end of the Death Forest are all tested ninja teams, and their strength must be extraordinary. It would be interesting if stealing chickens doesn't make money. Ankson, don't you guys know my strength? Besides, they may have experienced bloody battles, and it is not impossible for them to lose their physical strength. Most importantly, keep it secret. Naruto chuckled. He has many underworld skills that he hasn't had time to show, but this time he can try it out. Anyway, they are all ninjas from other villages, and something happened to third generation. Then, go all the way and go directly to the finish line. I listened to Sasuke. Well, listen to Naruto too. The corner of Naruto's mouth twitched, and he ignored little Sakura's love brain. You can only wake up after experiencing it. In Naruto's view, little Sakura is annoying enough, but her dedication to Sasuke is her motivation, and being able to keep up with the two of them in the end is enough to illustrate this point. Naruto was noncommittal. Anyway, he has no feelings for little Sakura. Little Sakura has no feelings for him, and using his things will only increase friendship, which is enough. Then let's go. The three of them disappeared in a flash, ignoring everything on the side of the road, and went straight to the finish line. The Konoha village Anbu ninja, who was following them to ensure safety, saw this scene and was immediately blindfolded. These three people are so brave to have such an idea. But I have to say, it's a great idea. It would definitely make Konoha village proud if they were successful, but it would be a laughingstock if they failed. He hesitated for a moment or said nothing. They cannot appear unless it is absolutely necessary, nor can they interfere with their thoughts and actions. Let me see if you are really capable or bluffing. Asterisk. He has no ill feelings towards Naruto. Most of the ninjas who knew about it remained silent because it was the order of the third generation, but they also had a scale in their hearts, knowing that they were the sons of the fourth generation, and even more knowing that it was the fourth generation and Mrs. Fourth Generation who sacrificed themselves for the peace of the village. So, why did they sacrifice Naruto? Just because he is a Jinchuriki. Many people know, but they dare not say it, and they can't say it. This is the most frustrating. You have successfully aroused the embarrassment and pity of the Anbu ninja members, the critical strike is 10 times, and you have obtained a special mask. Mask. Naruto was stunned for a moment, and checked casually. Special mask. As for a strange otherworld, the world is different, the rules have been changed. It is possible to completely hide the starting point and identity, and if you don't make a move, you will never know what kind of existence I am. Naruto. This thing is useless to him, throwing it into the space casually. As for the Anbu member, did he really think he could escape Naruto's perception? Cough, little guy, just take a rest. Just as Anbu was about to keep up with Naruto and the others, he suddenly felt a chill behind him, turned his head in horror, and happened to meet a pair of snake eyes. Spooky. The next moment, the eyes of the Anbu members went dark, and Orochimaru quietly placed them on a big tree, hanging there so straight. There are also several snakes swimming around. Appears to be protecting the Anbu ninja. Hehe, as expected of someone I value, with personality. After doing all this, Orochimaru followed Uzumaki Naruto silently. He wanted to see their accomplishments, but there was no way Orochimaru had coveted Sasuke for a long time. Since he was killed by Uchiha Itachi last time, he covets Sharingan, but the evil Danzo refuses to share. In this case, there is still a Uchiha clan in this world. That is Uchiha Sasuke, and this guy is still small and has high plasticity. So here he is, not only for Konoha collapse plan, but also for Uchiha Sasuke. Now add an Uzumaki Naruto. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's interested emotions, the critical strike is 14 times, and you have obtained the seal of the sky. Heaven's curse seal, Orochimaru. Naruto, who was running, stared at him, and sure enough, Orochimaru still followed. And it should be right behind them now. Because he can't perceive that Anbu ninja anymore. Have you been killed? Probably not. But Orochimaru is definitely behind me. Glancing at Sasuke, Naruto's eyes flashed, and he planned to speak out. To be honest, Orochimaru is indeed very suitable to be Sasuke's teacher, and Sasuke's growth in Konoha village is limited, but it's still the same sentence, everything depends on his choice. Naruto doesn't intend to interfere too much, because he also felt that if he didn't make a move, it would be the best choice for Sasuke to follow Orochimaru. Heaven's Curse Seal. Naruto looked at this newfound ability. This is a ninjutsu created by Orochimaru based on Jugo and the fighting style of Jinchuriki. He can unleash the latent power of the human body without limit. This force is a double-edged sword, hurting others and hurting oneself. What a genius idea! After reading this general introduction, Naruto can only sigh in this way. There is really no shortage of such monsters in this world, no matter in terms of strength, research or theory. Perhaps, it is precisely because of their existence that the ninja world can develop rapidly to the point where it is today. Orochimaru, I look forward to meeting you. Naruto shook his spirits, looking forward to it. He really wanted to meet those famous people in the genin world. Apart from crit attacks, he was also very interested in their experiences. Naruto, what are you thinking? Nothing, just thinking about some interesting things, let's go quickly. Suddenly, Naruto, who had just finished speaking, stopped abruptly, as did Sasuke and little Sakura. On a big tree in front of them, a very good-looking woman was looking at them with a smile. But for some reason, Sasuke and little Sakura felt a terrifying chill in their hearts. Hello you all, who are you? Sasuke's face was full of vigilance and he stared at the sudden person in front of him. This person seemed to be waiting for them specially, and he looked very dangerous. Little Sakura also followed Sasuke nervously, staring straight at Orochimaru. This beautiful and outrageous person in front of him looked extremely dangerous. Your inner instinct is roaring, invincible. My name is Orochimaru, nice to meet you. I've been looking for you for a long time. He spat out the snake letter, under the cold eyes of Sasuke and little Sakura. Orochimaru gave a dark smile and looked at the three people in front of him with interest. Sasuke and little Sakura are nervous, but why this Uzumaki Naruto doesn't seem surprised at all and looks at him with interest. This is not right, Orochimaru wondered. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's puzzled emotions, the critical strike is 10 times, and you have obtained the hidden shadow snake hand. Good morning, Sister Orochimaru. Naruto greeted with a smile. Orochimaru's face froze. Elder sister. Well, the way I look now is indeed a big sister, but no one has ever dared to call him that, and this Uzumaki Naruto in front of me is still the only one. So, what is my sister here for? I'm here to find you. As soon as Orochimaru moved, he appeared in front of Sasuke the next moment, and instantly circled around Sasuke, with a delicate nose and an intoxicated expression. Ah, how wonderful. Hiss. Naruto felt cold, goosebumps stood on end. No matter how this person looks and moves, he is so maverick, so disgusting. Uchiha Sasuke, I have missed you for a long time. Let me see if you meet the requirements in my mind. As he spoke, he opened his mouth and bit Sasuke's neck. Brush. Sasuke gritted his teeth, tilted his head with difficulty, and walked backwards, then looked at Orochimaru in horror. What was that pressure just now, and why did I feel trembling all over? In the history of practice, Sasuke has never felt such a terrible breath. Even when Uchiha Itachi killed all the people and faced him, it was not so terrible. It was as if the whole person was about to drown. Terrible to the extreme. He could barely move. Murderous look. Naruto on the side explained. This is the trait that a ninja who has experienced a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood will raise his glass. Even if it is not cut, it will not have such a terrible temperament. Orochimaru definitely has it. When he was young, he experienced a lot, and even commanded a lot of ninjas to participate in the Third Ninja World War. It is not natural for such a person to have such a murderous aura. Oh, Uzumaki Naruto, you know a lot. I know you because... Naruto looked at the beautiful and outrageous woman in front of him with a relaxed expression, and grinned, one of the legendary Sannin, who is keen on research and prefers to pursue the truth of the world on the road to eternal life. And your charisma is great, many people are willing to dedicate themselves to you. Hiss. After listening to Naruto's words, Orochimaru couldn't help taking a deep breath, and looked at Uzumaki Naruto in disbelief. What the hell, is this also an intelligence ninja? He is so familiar with his own information. You successfully aroused Orochimaru's heart-shaking emotions, 30 times the critical strike, and obtained the improved version of the curse seal of the sky. Naruto ignored the critical blow, and continued to talk endlessly. I have returned the curse seals of many places, the curse seals of heaven, and others. They are also your test subjects, and containers for the next living corpse reincarnation. You successfully aroused Orochimaru's shocking and astonished emotion. The critical strike was 45 times, and you got the improved version of the curse seal of the earth. Naruto, how are these things? Glancing casually, Naruto narrowed his eyes, a little surprised in his heart. This improved version of the heaven and earth seal has no qualitative change, but its power has become stronger, its side effects have become weaker, and it will not be so ugly. It is indeed an improved version, and it is still the same for Naruto. A tasteless one, it doesn't work. It's okay to leave it alone for research. And at this moment, Orochimaru was looking at Naruto in amazement. How could this man know himself so well? He didn't say a lot of things, but Naruto was able to tell the truth. Are you a devil? Which of us is more like a villain? Naruto suddenly smiled strangely. And I also know what you are doing this time. Impossible. Orochimaru shook his head decisively. If Naruto knew what he wanted to do, he would have reported it to third generation, and now he must have fled in embarrassment, and the so-called Chunin exam may exist in name only. But now, the Chunin exam is still going on, which means that Naruto didn't tell third generation. Uzumaki Naruto is really treacherous. Is he trying to trick me? Sure enough, no child can ignore his horror. You're right. The Uzumaki Naruto in front of you is very scary. It's not scary in terms of strength, but scary in the unknown. Orochimaru no longer wants to argue with Naruto and the others, and is directly preparing to commit crimes. But suddenly, Naruto reached into the ninja bag and pulled out a big one. Boom! The sound of a heavy object falling to the ground resounded, and Orochimaru raised his eyes. I rely on it. What the hell is this? Looks like a cannon. Does Naruto want to hit him with a cannon? You underestimate me too much. Wrong. Is it a matter of the cannon now? Orochimaru's mouth twitched wildly. Now why can you pull out such a big hideous thing in a small ninja bag? It's not right. Do you think your ninja bag is a kind of space ninjutsu? Quote, little Sakura. They heard Orochimaru's words and knew that they were going to go big, and they were all ready, but in the blink of an eye, you took out a hideous big guy and aimed at Orochimaru. Fire. What kind of cannon? Such a strange question flashed across Sasuke's mind. Since he came back to Konoha village last time, he learned a lot, and soon understood some of what Naruto and Kakashi said. Because of this, he still can't look directly at Naruto a little bit now. How does this guy feel that there is an age gap with him? Forget about the difference in strength, but the difference in psychology is so big. In other words, what else do you not understand? When he came back to his senses, Sasuke's eyelids twitched. Now when he sees these words and things spoken by Naruto, he can subconsciously think of certain aspects. Gah, I was led awry. Sasuke cursed inwardly. All three stared blankly at the cannon in front of Naruto. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's stunned emotion. The critical strike is 16 times, and the skin toughness is +1/1. You have successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's stunned emotion. The critical strike is 20 times stronger, and the power of Reikiri has been strengthened. You succeeded in arousing Haruno Sakura's stunned emotion, 25 critical hits, gaining defense +1. It was just a split second. When Naruto took out the cannon, he had already pressed his palm on the cannon's cannon twice, and started charging. The majestic chakra is extracted in the body, and then input into the cannon. The cannon began to shine brightly. Not good. Orochimaru's scalp tingling. He felt the threat of death, and hurriedly sealed, triple Rashomon. Rumble. As Orochimaru pressed his palm on the ground, 3 ferocious gates emerged from the ground, standing in the forest of death. Meanwhile, there seemed to be a cold breath circulating. At this time, the cannon was fully charged, and the dazzling light turned into a beam of light and spewed out. Rumble. Trees snapped, gates shattered. The 3 Rashomons shattered one after another, turning into dust and dissipating. Orochimaru felt that something was wrong long before, and left the place directly. Seen from the side, this beam of light impacted, and the power didn't dissipate until far away. Sasuke and little Sakura stared blankly at this scene. All were stunned. Why do these strange things always appear following Naruto? This time too. Forget about Orochimaru. Why do you have such terrible weapons? Unfortunately, the speed of energy storage is still a bit slow. Naruto felt a little pity. He knew he missed Orochimaru. This thing is good for fixed point strikes, but facing Orochimaru's slippery ninja is still a little less pressure. Uzumaki Naruto, you managed to pique my interest. Orochimaru jumped out from the side, palpitating. That scene just now was really scary. My triple Rashomon could only withstand it for a moment. It was really scary. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's fearful emotions. The critical strike is 10 times, and you have obtained the Rashomon. Naruto silently took out the ninja knife behind his back, and with a swipe of his footsteps, the body flicker technique cooperated with his speed talent, and appeared in front of Orochimaru in the blink of an eye, and the sharp light of the knife exploded. Click. There was a light sound, because the roots of the tree under its feet were squeezed and broken. Boom. Orochimaru turned into white smoke, and 2 severed pieces of wood fell to the ground in the white smoke. Sneaker snake hand. There was a whistling sound behind him, and Naruto made a backhand knife, followed by a knife with the other hand, Rasengan. Throw it out. The Rasengan that will disappear. Orochimaru shrank his pupils, keenly sensed the danger, and immediately cast body flicker technique to escape from the original position. Boom. On the spot, a Rasengan appeared abruptly and exploded violently. Flying water shuriken. Naruto gave a soft drink, and the moment Orochimaru retreated, he turned his palm, and a shuriken completely condensed by water whizzed out. The shuriken spun rapidly and headed straight for Orochimaru. What ninjutsu is this? The shuriken condensed by water is unbelievable. This is how powerful the ability to control chakra is to complete this step. Rasengan is hard enough, but this flying water shuriken looks even more difficult to practice. Snake steps. Orochimaru didn't have time to dodge. He raised his hand and thought about pressing ahead. 2 giant snakes came out of his cuffs, bit directly on Feishui's shuriken, and bit it off. Fixation technique. The next moment, countless tiny chakra threads suddenly bound Naruto, making him unable to move. Body replacement technique. Wind style, great breakthrough. Wind style, great breakthrough. The 2 shouted softly almost at the same time, and a powerful gust of wind swept in and collided with each other. However, it is obvious that Naruto's wind style great breakthrough is even more powerful, directly tearing apart the wind style great breakthrough cast by Orochimaru, and the remaining power sweeps away, enveloping Orochimaru in it. Blood splattered. Soil substitute. Crack. Boom. The soil exploded, and Orochimaru disappeared into wind style, appeared behind him, and pressed his palm on the ground again, the formation of 10,000 snakes. Hiss. Countless jumping oddities. The strange, 5-flowered 8-gate snake was summoned by Orochimaru, spitting out snake letters, staring straight at Naruto, swarming up, trying to drown Naruto. Naruto's scalp felt numb, and he seemed to have some trypophobia. Take a step back slightly, take a deep breath, put your hands together, and in an instant the imprinting is completed. Open your mouth and spit out lightly, and several fireballs spew out. If I can't kill a person, I can't kill a snake. After experiencing so many things with Sasuke, the power of this ninjutsu has been raised to the point of terror. Each burst of fireball will generate the ultimate high flame temperature, and no grass will grow wherever it passes. Wherever he went, there was raging fire. This power. Orochimaru's pupils shrank sharply. Up to now, he basically tried his best, but the Naruto in front of him faintly surpassed him in terms of reaction speed and ninjutsu use. You know that he has been immersed in ninjutsu for many years, while Naruto has only been a few years. Could this be the world of monsters? Too strong. You have successfully aroused Orochimaru's jealousy, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have obtained the 10,000 snakes formation. You have successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's surprised emotions, the critical strike is 5 times, the fire style has been obtained, and the power of the unkillable technique has been strengthened. You have successfully aroused Haruno Sakura's astonishment, the critical strike is 6 times, and the control of chakra has been strengthened. Orochimaru's face was serious. It won't work if I continue like this, I can only find a helper. 1,000 snakes. With a soft spit, Orochimaru cast summoning. Boom. Huge smoke lingered, a huge body coiled up, and a huge snake head raised high, spitting snake letters, and a huge sense of oppression came. Enter the giant snake. Orochimaru, how many offerings are there this time? First defeat the person in front of you, this is a formidable enemy. Oh he, Orochimaru, you've lived and passed, you can't even beat these three brats. Oh, you try it. It's just right, take these three guys to beat the Tooth Festival. One snake laughed and rushed straight to Naruto. He is very disdainful of ninjutsu. No matter how strong he is, can he be as strong as my body that has been honed through thousands of years? Give me all to die. We can't help you with anything. Watching Naruto and Orochimaru fight, Sasuke and little Sakura, who are standing by, are dazzled. They can't keep up with this speed, and they can't respond well. Standing here, they are obviously a team, but they feel that they are simply useless, they can't do anything, they can only watch. Little Sakura didn't feel anything, but Sasuke felt very upset inside. This feeling of being protected, this feeling of humiliation. If this continues, when will I be able to take revenge? Is it really necessary to survive in Konoha village, under Kakashi-sensei, and under the wings of Uzumaki Naruto? No, never, Sasuke shouted in his heart. I can't go on like this, I must make a change. After this time, I will definitely try to change. Sasuke stared at Naruto and Orochimaru with straight eyes. At this moment, 10,000 snakes attacked Naruto with a ferocious laugh. Naruto's face was indifferent, he held the ninja knife in his hand, turned slightly, and Chakra's nature changed. Crackling. There is thunder flashing on the blade. Then I saw Naruto holding up the ninja knife high, and the arc flickered. Reikiri. Is this Reikiri? Probably. Naruto thinks this is very handsome. Sasuke is so handsome. When it's my turn, ah, it smells so good. He could feel the terrifying power contained in the knife. It's too late to say, at that time Yang. Naruto took a step forward, advancing instead of retreating, and went straight to 10,000 snakes. Under the astonished eyes of Orochimaru, Sasuke, and little Sakura, the two collided. Boom! A shocking explosion occurred, and Naruto flew upside down. However, before Orochimaru had time to be happy, Naruto who flew upside down suddenly shattered, like a dream bubble. And his real body appeared at the root of a big tree not far away, looking at this side with a calm face. Missing a knife. Roar. Suddenly, 10,000 snakes roared in fright, and the voice was full of pain. Orochimaru's pupils shrank suddenly, and a ninja sword was inserted quietly on Wanshi's head, leaving only the handle. The blood was flowing, and Fang Snake's roar continued. Hey, Orochimaru, what the hell did you provoke? Why are you so strong? Its body, especially its head, may not be said to be comparable to King Kong, but its defense ability is definitely not bad. However, even in this way, its scalp was pierced in an instant, and it was directly inserted into its head. Thousands of snakes are frightened. You successfully aroused the fear of 10,000 snakes, 100 times the critical strike, and gained illusion resistance +1. Oh, something new is coming out. Illusion resistance, this thing is good, if more critical hits come out, maybe I can be immune to illusions. Illusion is one of the most troublesome spells, like Uchiha Itachi, without Mangekyo Sharingan's illusion Orochimaru can fight him back and forth. But once the illusion was cast, Orochimaru was blinded directly. Goodbye. One snake walked straight away without even thinking about it. How to fight this kind of person? Anyway, he didn't help, he didn't even have a sacrifice, and he was seriously injured as soon as he came out. This already makes it very heart-wrenching. Boom. With a flash of white smoke, the 10,000 snakes disappeared, leaving only a ninja knife inserted quietly on the ground. Orochimaru. Little Sakura. Sasuke. You win. Orochimaru glanced at the messy field, thought about it, and didn't plan to spend it with Naruto. Sasuke is very important, but there will be opportunities in the future. But there is only one chance for Konoha's collapse plan, and he doesn't intend to let it go. Uzumaki Naruto, you are strong, I admire you. I'll keep an eye on you. Orochimaru's voice was faint, but it had disappeared. Gone. Naruto heaved a sigh of relief. He had basically exhausted his means, and if he continues to fight, he will use the trial version of the 9 Tails mode, the 10-star mode, which is the bottom of the box ability. This is not the situation he wants to see. Orochimaru simply has scruples and retreats early. This is good for both parties. Naruto. Little Sakura and Sasuke stepped forward, and little Sakura was a little restrained. Naruto was very easy when playing Zabujan before, so little Sakura and Sasuke didn't have that intuitive feeling. But today, they have seen what real strength is. This is where you come and go, swords and swords. One bad thing is that you lose everything, like dancing on the tip of a knife, tense, exciting, and scary. It's hard to imagine that Naruto doesn't have much combat experience, but his reaction ability is really fast, and most of the casting speeds are instantaneous. There are also many strange ninjutsu that they don't know. The same 5-year ninja school education, why are you so good? The two wondered, could this be the gap between people, but isn't the gap too big? Gone, Orochimaru probably won't come again. Quote, Naruto picked up the ninja sword and put it behind his back, and said with a smile, there should be no one blocking the way now, and we can easily go to the finish line. The two nodded silently. Just kidding, with this level of strength, those who participated in the assessment were tortured to death. What else do you need to plan? No need, just go there recklessly, and it will be right to beat them until they are convinced. This is the change brought about by strength. The two have to admit that they are no longer in the same dimension as Naruto, and their future achievements may be even more far apart. Sasuke clenched his fists, feeling unwilling. Why is this so? You successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's unwillingness, hit 1,000 times critically, and obtained a wish-fulfilling stone. Naruto's eyes lit up, and the wish-fulfilling stone came out again with a critical strike. Just wait for the appearance of the magic weapon of clothes. Tisk. Today is also a harvest day. As for Sasuke, Naruto squinted at Sasuke, who was full of indifference, but a little bit unwilling. He sighed slightly, and there was nothing he could do. Use your own abilities, but it seems that without it, the remaining crooked melons and cracked dates will not change Sasuke's quality, and Sasuke's future path is different from his. For revenge, the current Sasuke will give everything. Forget it, the ability related to Sharingan will help him when it comes out later. If I hadn't been cursed, I wouldn't have left with Orochimaru. I guess. Naruto was speechless and moved on. See it, I see, may the forest of death. I don't know which team it is in that direction, what happened to it, it will explode with such a strong power. The subsequent battle was okay, but the front shot directly alarmed Mitarashi Anko and the others. I gonna go see. Anko was a little worried. As for how a Chunin exam could burst out with such a powerful force, it was illogical, and she was not at ease. I know, you go slowly, we are here to watch. The remaining ninjas looked at each other and nodded hastily. All of them are not as powerful as Anko, and if Anko is not good enough, they are even worse, so it doesn't make any difference whether they go or not. All go and come back. Anko dodges and rushes into the Death Forest. And the rest of the Death Forest team also felt the aftermath of this amazing battle. Gaara, what do you think? Gaara, although I am very strong, I am also very self-aware. With this level of strength, he doesn't know whether his absolute defense can stop him. Temari is a little longing, but also a little vigilant. I don't know who sent this, if our Chunin exam this year. The thought of fighting such a monster made Temari's scalp tingle. Kankuro shuddered. It can't be that Uzumaki Naruto, can it? Impossible, absolutely impossible. A person's strength is limited at this age, how can there be such a powerful 12-year-old ninja? This is absolutely impossible. Is it Naruto? Others who knew Naruto, such as Tiantian and Ino Hinata, immediately thought of this incredible sunny boy. Maybe he is the only one who can erupt such incredible power. They believe so. You have successfully aroused Temari's longing emotion, the critical strike is 10 times, and the wind attribute chakra has been improved. You have successfully aroused Tiantian's suspicion, the critical strike has been doubled, and the power of the detonating charm has been increased. You successfully caused a lot of crit strikes directly swipe the screen. Naruto looked at it cheerfully. Many of them were repetitive, but some of them seemed to be very useful to him. Sure enough, as I became famous, these critical strikes also followed, especially these famous ninjas, which gave me huge benefits. Hey, Naruto, Sasuke, who was advancing, suddenly asked, what's the matter with the so-called Heaven's Curse seal? Sasuke recalled Orochimaru's actions carefully, and suddenly found a situation. Orochimaru didn't intend to use them in the previous situation. And at the beginning, it seemed that he had to bite his own neck. What is that for? Reminiscent of Naruto's words, Sasuke was surprised to find that it should be something related to the curse seal. Naruto was silent. Sasuke actually noticed this. Little Sakura also looked over. She was also very curious when she heard Sasuke's question. It was really strange that Naruto said the curse seal and Chongwu just now, and Orochimaru's expression also changed. Curse Seal is an ability researched by Orochimaru. You know Jinchuriki, don't you? Sasuke and little Sakura nodded, although they have never seen the so-called Jinchuriki, but teacher Iruka said this when he was in school. Jinchuriki is a combination of tailed beast and ninja, extremely dangerous. However, if they become tailed beasts, their strength will become very powerful. Orochimaru also created this ninjutsu for this part of the reason. Once you cast the spell, your strength will change drastically. But the whole person will also become ugly, and the damage to oneself will be particularly great. Sasuke's heart moved, the earth-shaking changes. How powerful it would be to be able to call it a sea change by Naruto. Thinking about Orochimaru's words again, Sasuke's eyes flickered. Maybe I can try it. As for the body container, Sasuke knows, but he doesn't care, his life is just for revenge. If he can succeed in revenge, he is willing to pay any price. You have successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's desire for Orochimaru, the critical strike is 100 times, and the Sharingan ability is +1. Naruto. I knew it would be such a result, but it is undeniable that this result is the best one from Naruto's point of view. Let him go. It's said within 10 days, but with our speed, it doesn't take a day or two to fight for the end of the Great Death Forest. Little Sakura had a big smile on her face. She was a mixed team, and she mixed very successfully. Well, then you can take turns to rest, practice by the way, and wait for them to come to your door automatically. Let's wait for work, I really didn't expect it to be so easy. Sasuke couldn't help showing a smile on his face, this kind of life is actually not bad. Not for me though. Master Orochimaru, have you succeeded? When Orochimaru returned to Konoha village quietly, Yakushi Kabuto asked in surprise. A terrible force erupted in the forest just now, is it Lord Orochimaru? Not me. The corner of Orochimaru's mouth twitched. Do, you were right, that kid Uzumaki Naruto is really powerful, I almost fell this time. Hiss. Yakushi Kabuto gasped and looked at Orochimaru in disbelief. What did he hear? Master Orochimaru actually admitted that he almost fell, which is really inconceivable. So, the previous energy was sent by Uzumaki Naruto. Yeah, it's a hideous big fort. It can emit terrifying power when it is charged. The strangest thing is how his little ninja bag is put into such a big guy. I'm getting more and more curious about the kid Uzumaki Naruto. Quote. Orochimaru licked his chapped lips, a trace of drawing showing on his face. Yakushi Kabuto pondered. Then Orochimaru-sama, will there be any problems with Konoha's collapse plan? Won't. Although Uzumaki Naruto is powerful, he hasn't reached the point where he can defeat us instantly, and I also have a secret killer, don't I? Indeed, Yakushi Kabuto couldn't help smiling when he thought of those coffins. With the existence of those few people, the Konoha collapse plan this time should be foolproof. I can't wait now, it's a pity Sasuke, let's find another chance next time. Don't worry, he will come to the door by himself, I firmly believe so. Quote exclamation mark quote. On the third day, Naruto and the others stopped in their tracks, and there was a small wooden house in front of them. As long as they walked inside, they would complete one of the tasks. But now, Naruto and the others still lack a scroll. Boom! Naruto raised his hand and pressed it, and the hideous cannon appeared again, aiming at the direction they came from. Here, there is only one way, and they have nowhere to go. When do you think the earliest teams will come? The day after tomorrow. Of course, if you're lucky, you may come over tomorrow. Naruto was lying on the edge of the fort, holding a piece of green grass in his mouth, and said something casually when he heard the little Sakura's inquiry. This time the assessment is about strength and teamwork, but luck is also very important. If you are lucky enough to meet the first team, you will be able to collect all the earth coiling shafts, and then you can go all the way, so you will come early. I don't think it's that early. But if it's that team of people, there may be such a chance. You mean Gaara? This is true. Gaara is very strong, but don't forget about Neji, Xiaoli, and Tian Tian. The current Tiantian is not bad, and they may not lose if they cooperate with Xiaoli Neji. In short, everything is possible in the future. The quality of ninjas this year is very good. Of course, Gaara is still a top existence. As a Jinchuriki, he also has the ability of so-called absolute defense. It is difficult for others to break through the defense. This also makes Gaara invincible. No matter who it is, as long as it is not one of our own, it will be bombarded, if it is not given, it will be hit directly. Naruto pouted. Where do you get so many jabbers? Just hit them. This is an exam, and it is also a single plank bridge. If you are kind, it means that you are likely to fail. There is no retreat on the road to Chunin. It makes sense. Wait. As time passed, Sasuke and little Sakura were training and practicing, while Naruto was lying down and counting stars and ants. You have successfully aroused the envy of Uchiha Sasuke, the critical hit is 10 times, and the Sharingan ability has been increased by +1. You have successfully aroused the envy of Haruno Sakura, triple the critical strike, and obtained the aura water with a little more aura. Naruto. What is there to envy? I have worked hard before. You have successfully aroused Nine-Tails' speechless emotions, the critical hit is 11 times higher, and you have gained resistance to illusion +1. Naruto's heart moved. Nine-Tails, yes, I haven't entered the sealed space for a day or two, I miss it. The point is that he also wants to hear about Nine-Tails' past feats. I don't know how to enter the sealed space. Last time he also entered it in a muddle-headed manner, and he couldn't get in no matter what he did afterwards. Really weird. Song Anon. Well, Hull. Sasuke, Naruto and the others stood up all of a sudden, staring at the front fixedly. They heard the voice, and they didn't hide it at all. 2. It is basically safe to get here, and you can pass the customs, but you will always be a little lax when you get here. No one thought that someone would be so crazy and block the door directly. Brush. 3 figures emerged, and when they saw Naruto, they also looked surprised. Naruto, why are you here? What is this? Canon. Hinata, Inuzuka, Aburame Shino, why are you? You are so fast. Naruto greeted Hinata, a little strangely. Are these 3 so fast? Lucky, I met a team, and their team was in conflict, so we missed it. Inuzuka tooth grinned. And I didn't meet any other teams along the way, so I just came here directly, and now it should be counted as clearing the level. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Lin, what kind of fairy luck is this, and this is fine. By the way, what are you doing here? Block the door. Block the door. The 3 of Inuzuka's teeth looked puzzled, and Hinata's heart moved. Are you trying to rob here? That's right. Naruto grinned. You guys go there, we are all from the same village, we don't feel embarrassed. TCH, if you make things difficult for us, we won't be able to beat you to death. Inuzuka teeth curled his lips. Uzumaki Naruto, you have always been my goal, and I will definitely surpass you and become the strongest in the new generation. I have already practiced in the family and learned a lot of ninjutsu. Me too. Hinata pursed her lips and smiled. As for the words of surpassing Naruto, just think about it, don't take it too seriously. Sasuke and little Sakura looked at the 2 with pity, especially Inuzuka. If he hadn't seen the battle between him and Orochimaru, perhaps Sasuke also thought that he could surpass Uzumaki Naruto in a short time, but now he has thought about it, this person is an absolute monster. Compared with him, it is simply masochistic and meaningless. You have successfully aroused Inuzuka Ya's displeasure, the critical strike is 7 times, and you get a dog. You have successfully aroused Aburame Shino's displeasure, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you will get the fragrance bug. Naruto. What is this? A dog, a bug. How could this thing be exposed? Subconsciously glanced at the information. A dog. With the weak blood of the Shaoshan dog, when he grows up, he is heroic and extraordinary, and he will have more face when he goes out. However, it is a bit difficult to cultivate. Not bad. Naruto was a little surprised. He raised a dog and bullied Akamaru every day, which made Inuzuka doubt his life. Hey. Naruto smiled darkly. Wow woof. Akamaru barked at Naruto, always feeling that this person has deep malice towards him. Akamaru, what's wrong with you? He's Naruto, you didn't grow up when you were young. Inuzuka was puzzled, how could he keep barking wildly, and Naruto didn't do anything? You have successfully aroused Chimaru's fearful emotions, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have obtained special dog food. Ah this. Naruto was speechless, and looked at the fragrance worm. It's nothing special, it just gives off a unique aroma that attracts a lot of bugs. This may be an indispensable companion for the ninjas of the Aburame clan. There is also this special dog food, you can keep it, and when you go back, release that dog and give it to him as dog food. But having said that, this crit can even burst out life, and it seems that the ability is getting stronger and stronger, which is also a good thing for me. HMPH, let's complete the mission first, and then we'll see how you defeat those people. Inuzuka tooth waved. Hinata and Aburame Shino followed and walked into the wooden house. Naruto didn't care if he won the first place or not, as long as he could pass the level. Anyway, everyone will not be eligible for Chunin this time. First, leave it to you, it doesn't make any sense. Ha ha ha, we're lucky. All of these have passed the assessment. Xianglin, you can rest assured that we will not bite you this time. Not long after, another burst of laughter came. At this time, Inuzuka Kiba and the others just finished the task, leaning against the edge of the wooden house and watching Naruto and the others. They really wanted to know how Naruto would defeat the enemies approaching here. Well, someone is here again so soon. Aburame Shino's heart moved. Listen to this, maybe we are as lucky as us. Directly get the corresponding scroll and come quickly, without touching the rest of the team. It should be like this. I don't know how strong they are. It would be nice to cause some trouble for Naruto. I'd like to say the same, but I find it a bit difficult. Many people in Konoha village now know that Naruto can defeat Zabuza, and the strength of Onijin Zabuza is elite Jonin. What is this concept? That is to say, Naruto already has the powerful strength of elite Jonin. Is there anyone here who can fight alone as its opponent? Aburame Shino is very self-aware. He knows that the three of them together will not be Naruto's opponent. But goals still have to be there, aren't they? If you have a dream, maybe it will come true. Come on, listen to the name not from our Konoha village. Yes, but the name is very familiar. Naruto nodded, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. People of this clan, Xianglin, are also poor people who pursue Sasuke, and in the end they follow Sasuke all the time. I'm also a lover, a hard-working person. Well, why is there someone blocking the way here? Hey, get out of the way, be careful I'll kill you. One of Kusanagi put her hands on her hips and was extremely arrogant, and so did the other Kusanagi, but Xianglin was timid, and she didn't think of conflict at all. Once there is a conflict, they will fight, and once they fight, they will bite themselves. Xianglin bit her lip tightly, trembling all over. Mom, when will this kind of life end? Naruto's eyes darkened, and murderous intent appeared in his heart. Not for any reason. Just because the red-haired girl in front of me has some kind of blood relationship with him anyway, and is of the same race as his cheap mother. This cannot be ignored. Since you have encountered it, you can go to hell with me. A faint voice came, but it was full of infinite murderous intent. The light flashed, and the terrifying light flashed away. Rumble. The impact of the terrifying beam of light opened a long passage ahead. As for those two small miscellaneous fishes who didn't deserve to have names, they dissipated directly in this ray of light, leaving no bones left. Xianglin's eyes widened, and his whole body trembled even more. Fear spread uncontrollably throughout his body. It was this ray of light that passed by her just now, and she could feel the terrifying power. Once it touched her, she would die. Holding the scroll tightly, Xianglin turned pale. She even had reason to believe that if she hadn't stood a little far away, she would have been among the dead. You caused Uchiha Sasuke's shocking emotion. The critical strike was 50 times, and the Sharingan ability was strengthened. You have successfully aroused Uzumaki's frightened emotions. The critical strike has been multiplied, and the perception ability has been enhanced. You successfully caused another series of critical attacks. Generally speaking, are repetitive things, and the perception ability under him is very good. Sasuke and the others looked at Naruto in surprise. It was the first time they saw Naruto being so ruthless. Usually he would just smile, as if he didn't care about anything. But this time why? Sasuke looked at Xianglin subconsciously, as if thinking of something. Gone. The corner of Sasuke's mouth twitched fiercely. Is it really because of what he said just now? This woman does look good, but it's not necessary. You successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's speechless emotions. The critical strike was 9 times, and you got the shadow dance leaf. Okay, the 2 slags are dead, hand over the scroll. Naruto looked at Xianglin. As for you, you are half of the same family. If you are willing to stay in Konoha village, I will keep you safe. Xianglin's eyes widened. Hinata and the others are also moved. Half of the same race, what do you mean? Does Naruto also have family groups? Xianglin was even more excited. She didn't think Naruto would lie to him, because there was no need for that. Is this real? Nature is true, if you will. Meaning, you can totally live in Konoha village. Leaving aside historical issues, Konoha village and the Uzumaki clan are good, at least in the eyes of outsiders. Mom is good because the ninja costumes in Konoha village now have the logo of the Uzumaki clan on the back, highlighting the friendly relationship between the two. A village of grass tolerance. If offended, it will be offended. The old man of third generation is absolutely clear about this aspect. Thanks. Xionglin's eyes glistened with tears. If what Naruto said is true, then she can be relieved, no longer need to be bitten, and her body will not continue to weaken like this. No one wants to die if they can live. Phosphorus is no exception. You have successfully aroused Uzumaki's favorability, critically struck 1,000 times, and obtained adamantine sealing chains. You're welcome. I also have conditions. Take out the scroll. Xiongling readily handed over the scroll. Since all his teammates are dead and he can live in Konoha village, the scroll is not important anymore. Thank you, let's go together. A smile appeared on Naruto's face, and he waved the scroll in his hand to Sasuke and little Sakura. Look, the task is completed so suddenly and easily. Gone. Several people looked at each other and followed closely behind. Before leaving, Sasuke took a look at Xiongling, and then quietly walked up to him and asked in a low voice, "Are you sure you didn't do this because of someone else?" Gone. Naruto's face turned black. What kind of person do you think I am? Am I that kind of person? Glancing at Xiongling, it should be the reason why her arms are often bitten. At this moment, she is thin, dry, and has no flesh at all. She looks like an ugly girl. Sasuke, this is what eyes would think I'd be fancy like this. Cough cough. Naruto's mind flashed the appearance of Xiongling when he grew up, and suddenly he was a little uncertain. Chapter 71. Gone. Sasuke has led me astray. Am I that kind of person? What was that just now? When Naruto walked in front of Hinata and the others, Inuzuka looked at Naruto stammeringly. It can still be stored. How did you put away such a hideous big guy? Summoning. He had heard of such a thing, but had never seen it. Cannon. Don't you see it? I know it's a cannon, but your cannon looks like this. Isn't that a cannonball? And for ninjas, the cannon is really powerful, but it's not impossible to avoid it. But Naruto, the cannon, is definitely impossible for ordinary ninjas to avoid. Unless you are prepared, wait to play GG. You don't understand this. This is my improved weapon. It is specially used to squat people, and it is accurate to squat. Awesome. What else could Inuzuka say? He could only silently give a thumbs up. Naruto is still the same Naruto. There are always surprises and frights. Are you going? I'm going first. Handing the 2 scrolls to the gatekeeper ninja with a weird face, Naruto stretched. I've been running around for the past 2 days, and I haven't had a good night's sleep. It's better to rest at home when doing this kind of thing. Sasuke and little Sakura looked at each other and shrugged. No way. The life of a ninja is like this. They often need to eat and sleep in the open. Didn't they have prepared for this a long time ago? But there is one thing to say, it still feels good to be at home. Xiongling followed behind Naruto nervously, not daring to miss a step. What did you say? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Naruto in front of him, and after looking at Naruto, the timid Kaphos felt a headache. You have successfully aroused the anger of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The critical strike is 10 times, and you get the meat of the monster. The Whirlpool family. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep breath, with a smile on his face, and said to Xiongling, the Uzumaki family is very rare outside, and we are also looking for the orphans of the Uzumaki family these years. Fortunately, you can come to Konoha village and met Naruto. Ah, very good. In this case, it just so happens that there is a vacant house in Naruto's apartment, and I rent it to you. The rent is very cheap. Would you like to live in Konoha village in the future? Yes, of course. Xiongling was overjoyed when he heard that, and nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. In her opinion, Konoha village is a big village, and she would not do anything that would go back on its word. Since third Hokage has agreed, then this matter must be a certainty, and it has not gone away. You have successfully aroused Uzumaki's gratitude. The critical strike is 20 times stronger, and the perception ability has been enhanced. Then I'll go first. You need to worry about Xionglin's affairs, old man. Go, have a good rest. In 3 days it will be the prelude to the last Chunin exam, the knockout round. You have to be ready. I have nothing to prepare. Soldiers come to cover up water and earth. Everything depends on strength. Sarutobi Hiruzen was speechless. Don't say it so lightly. But after thinking about it, the ghost man will be defeated by you even if he doesn't kill him. It seems that he has nothing to entrust. Well, That's fine, you should take a good rest, don't tire yourself too much, stretching and relaxing is the way of practice, understand? Learn. Naruto put one hand in his trouser pocket, and waved Sarutobi Hiruzen behind his back with the other hand. Xianglin looked at Naruto admiringly. Why he could talk to Hokage so casually, he must be really strong. As for the ferocious cannon, Xianglin ignored it. Now Xianglin thinks that ferocious cannon is too cute, and wants to tease it. Alright, thoughts are a bit evil. The matter of Xianglin is settled. As soon as he walked out of the gate of the Hokage building, he saw Sasuke standing indifferently by the gate. When he saw Naruto coming out, Sasuke rolled his eyes and asked casually. Roughly speaking, the rest is the business of the old man of third generation. I think he'll announce the good news. Sasuke sneered. Over the years, he has seen clearly and learned a lot. He still loves the village deeply, but the high-level officials don't care. Although he is small, he is not a fool. There are many doubts about the Uchiha genocide. These doubts can only be waited until his home, to check, to investigate. You are right, I think so too. CJCI, this is such a good opportunity to show off, he will definitely not let it go. Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other, Naruto smiled, and Sasuke's indifferent mouth hooked slightly. By the way, I didn't ask you about one thing last time. Is it about the curse seal of the sky? That's right. Sasuke's eyes flashed a little fiery. If I can get the seal of the sky, what do you think my strength will be? Is this, not sure. Naruto touched his chin and shook his head. This seems to be determined by personal strength and potential. I don't have specific data. You have to ask Orochimaru about this. Orochimaru. Sasuke's face darkened, and then he said firmly, I will go find him. If you just tell me so plainly, you won't be afraid that I will report on you. You will not. Hey, you really know me well, I really won't report you. Sasuke, have you really made up your mind? I guess so. The two walked on the street. Sasuke's voice was erratic. I can't live in this comfortable place forever, it will make me fall. Even if I am more self-disciplined, I will always slack off a little under such an environment. This is not the result I want. Only by going out and facing the crisis of risks can I squeeze my potential strength. As for the container, I don't care. Sasuke, we are friends. Friends, maybe. Are you talking about the curse seal of the sky? Sasuke avoided this question. This is how you want me to answer, but subconsciously Sasuke regarded Naruto as a friend. Friends of Uchiha, family records, best comrade in arms, best friend, I can't say. There's nothing to say, you can go to Orochimaru to find out, but let me tell you, you must come to me after you go to Orochimaru. Quote exclamation mark question mark quote. I'll give you some good things, let's treat it as a farewell gift for you from my friend, why? Thank you so much, you have successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's complex emotions, the critical strike is 5 times, and the Sharingan ability has been strengthened. Phew, I can finally take a good rest for a day or two, feeling comfortable. Back home, Naruto lay on the bed for a while, not wanting to move. After a long time, Naruto's fingers trembled slightly, and he stood up suddenly, his eyes reflecting. Yes, I forgot about you, little guy. Naruto raised his hand and turned it over. A ball of light fluctuated, then fell to the ground. The light was soft, and gradually turned into a small dog. The whole body is light yellow, which looks like a dog. Tisk, do you hate the Chinese countryside? Naruto's eyes lit up. I like this kind of dog best. Quote. It looks so cute. Holding it in his arms and rubbing it fiercely, Naruto thought slightly under the puppy's protesting expression, I have to give you a name. Let me call you Xiaopingan. I hope everyone is safe and growing up happily. Xiaopingan, your meaning is very good, go bully Akamaru a lot in the future. You successfully aroused Xiaoping's speechless emotions, doubled the critical strike, and got a bag of dog food. Naruto was stunned, and laughed, go and play. You even have a dog. When Xiaopingan was running around in the corridor, Zabujan looked curiously, this doesn't look like a ninja dog either. He has heard about the Inuzuka Kiba family, that a dog is a friend, a partner, and a ninja tool. A very peculiar family, but you can't say that they are not powerful, their damage is very high, once they are hit, they basically have to kneel. Yeah, don't you think it's cute? Okay, no more beheading and shaking his head, he doesn't like these little animals, he gets annoyed whenever he sees them. Brother Naruto, I'm ready for everything, you can come to me if you need anything. Xianglin showed his head from the next door, with a smile on his face. I can do many things, I can cook and wash clothes. Ah, no need. If you can, help me take care of this little pingan. I'm afraid it will run downstairs in a hurry and can't find it. Okay. Xianglin's eyes lit up and he readily accepted. Come on, little pingan, come to my sister. Xiao Pingan raised his eyes, looked at Xianglin contemptuously, and quickly came behind Naruto and wagged his tail. Naruto, do not chop again. Phosphorus, I was despised by a dog. Isn't this a strange ordinary dog? At night, dark clouds cover the top, covering the moonlight and starlight on the sky. In the dark night, a small figure walked on the street with an indifferent expression. Are you looking for me? Sasuke-kun. With a low laugh, Orochimaru's unique voice came into Sasuke's ears. Sasuke stopped and looked to the side. At some point, a snake appeared on his shoulder, spitting out a snake message. The sound came from the snake. Orochimaru, it's me. You know I'm coming for you. Obviously you need power, and I can give you great power, can't I? What do you need me to do? Wrong. It depends on your performance in the future. In the early stage, I will do my best to train you. Of course, you must accept the seal of the sky that I planted for you. Sasuke was silent. For a long time, he raised his head slowly, with a firm face, and said word by word, I promise you. Tisk, so refreshing, have you convinced Uzumaki Naruto yet? It's really strange. Then come and find me, I'm in the corner up ahead. Ah, not long after, there were shrill screams in an empty alley, and the screams instantly attracted the attention of the patrolling Anbu ninjas. When they came here, they couldn't help but gasp, it's Sasuke. Why is he here? What's this? Looking at the three tadpole-like signs, the members of Anbu instinctively felt that something was wrong, and hurriedly picked up Sasuke and disappeared in a flash. Hiss, it hurts. Enko, who was taking a bath at home, subconsciously covered his neck, and there was a scarlet light flickering on it, which was very strange. Enko squatted down subconsciously, with one hand on the ground and the other covering his neck, his face full of pain. It's you, big snake pills. Enko growled, and the ninja put on his clothes instantly in pain, walked out of the house, and went straight to the direction of Orochimaru along the unseen trajectory. Unfortunately, nothing was found. Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at the unconscious Sasuke, then at the pale Enko, and fell silent. Yes, Orochimaru, it must be him. This is the curse seal. Sasuke was also taken by Orochimaru. This is the seed planted by Orochimaru. I don't know the specifics. Orochimaru is unpredictable, and we don't know when he sneaked in, so we can only strengthen the patrol. Then Kakashi, you have studied the sealing technique. Sasuke gave it to you, seal this weird seal for me. Good. Looking at Sasuke, Kakashi got a headache. He has a strange feeling towards Sasuke, and always feels as if he sees the shadow of Obito in him. Naruto's strength does not need him to teach, little Sakura does not match him, only Sasuke, also a Sharingan, and Obito's family, he is very caring. But I didn't expect this kind of thing to happen. Suddenly, Kakashi's face changed slightly, he thought of what Naruto said casually on the way back from Naruto last time. Impossible. Kakashi's scalp tingles at the thought of a certain possibility. Is it true that Konoha village is going to have an accident this time, and is Orochimaru causing major changes in Konoha village? Kakashi opened his mouth, but finally said nothing. This reason is too far-fetched, even he himself, the client, doesn't quite believe it, let alone want Sarutobi Hiruzen to believe this unbelievable idea, which is unrealistic. Seal Sasuke first, then go to Might Guy. I don't believe that Naruto's crow's mouth is so effective every time, I hope my worries are unfounded. Kakashi held Sasuke and disappeared into Hokage's office. The next day, the sky was bright. When Naruto woke up, he heard that Sasuke had an accident last night and was bitten by Orochimaru, and now he looks a little depressed. Ino, a flower. Okay, I just happened to go to see Sasuke too. Ino skillfully handed the flower to Naruto, then took one herself, and walked side by side with Naruto towards the ninja hospital. Is this scene too familiar? It seems to be true. Naruto recalled in a daze that 5 years ago, it was the same position, the same flowers, and the same people. Naruto and Ino looked at each other and looked at each other, wry smile. Why is it always Sasuke who gets hurt? Sasuke, we're here to see you. As soon as he came to the hospital, Naruto was taken aback. Good guy, this room looks familiar, isn't this the ward where Sasuke was lying 5 years ago? Life is full of coincidences. Naruto sighed. You successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's depressed mood, quadruple the critical strike, and gained Amaterasu enhancement. You guys are here, don't you think it looks familiar? Seeing Sasuke's depressed look, Naruto almost laughed out loud. Well, it does look familiar. I'll go out and have a look. Ino glanced at the two of them, and found that the two seemed to have something to say, especially Sasuke's hesitant appearance, and he definitely wanted to say something to Naruto alone. So Ino smiled tactfully, turned around and left, and closed the door thoughtfully. I went to Orochimaru yesterday and he managed to imprint me. I know, I'm going to leave the village after the Chunin exam this time. I'll be a traitor then, right? What do you think? Naruto curled his lips. To be honest, if it weren't for the girls I like in the village, I would also take a casual trip. You will not. The corner of Sasuke's mouth hooked. You like quietness and peace the most. Although Konoha village is a bit of a jerk for you, you live comfortably here, don't you? And based on my observations of you, the crow's mouth had an attack when the wave came back last time, and Konoha village will also experience major changes, perhaps related to Orochimaru. By then, those people you hate will disappear a lot. Naruto was silent. Whether or not Sasuke knows him too well can be guessed. You successfully aroused Uchiha Sasuke's emotion, the critical strike was 100 times, and the lion combo was obtained. Looking at you, I feel even more so. Hey, let's talk about gifts. Naruto coughed dryly and interrupted Sasuke. He could sense that someone was watching outside, it goes without saying. This is an insult to my personality. What a peace-loving person I am, how could I have such an idea? Slander, absolutely slander. Naruto speaks righteously. Sasuke sneered. I believe in your evil. Sasuke, today I will give you a gift. I hope you can save yourself from danger and return to Konoha village again. Naruto pointed at Sasuke's forehead, then retracted indifferently. Sasuke blinked, feeling nothing, opened his mouth to say something, and the next moment a strange feeling came to his mind. He felt that his half-opened Sharingan was quietly opened at this moment, silently, and the ability of the Sharingan seemed to be getting stronger. When Sasuke received these abilities, Naruto began to pull Sasuke's neck again, looked at the curse mark, then covered it with his hands, his eyes were serious. There is no need to bite to improve the curse seal, it only needs to correct a little bit on the original basis. After all, it is not the ability of qualitative change, it just weakens the side effects and enhances the explosive power, and it will be fine soon. Okay, Sasuke, I'm going first. Naruto waved his hand, turned and left without hesitation. What should be done has already been done. As for Sasuke's ups and downs in the future, it depends on his personal fortune, but Naruto still hopes that Sasuke can return to Konoha village completely. What an amazing guy, with amazing abilities. Sasuke touched his eyes subconsciously. Ryugyu's Sharingan loomed. It can actually affect my Sharingan, but this is your limit. Sasuke doesn't think there is no limit to such ability, but even so, Sasuke is also moved in his heart. Naruto really regards him as a friend. Thank you, Naruto. After my revenge, if I can come back alive, so what if I sold my life to you? Sasuke whispered. A slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This is the first time in 5 years that he smiles because of a friend. Maybe for the last time too. His face became indifferent gradually, and he stared at the sky, as if he saw Uchiha Itachi's cold eyes looking directly at him. Itachi, one day I will walk in front of you and kill you with my own hands. You successfully aroused Sasuke's emotion, the critical strike was 13 times, and you got the dragon fire technique. You have successfully aroused Sasuke's intense emotion that accompanies life and death, 1,000 times critical strike, and a unicorn. Naruto paused and continued walking. How is Sasuke? Don't worry, he may have never been better than he is now. Ino, are you sure you're talking human? This is going to the hospital. But she trusts Naruto 100%, so Sasuke likes the hospital environment. Ino is thoughtful. By the way, this thought will work for you a bit. Naruto stroked Ino's hair, and a light cluster quietly blended into it, and Ino was stunned. This ability, is this ninjutsu? Such a terrifying ninjutsu, almost like a ninjutsu tailor-made for her family. Thank you, Naruto. Ino's face was touched, and he couldn't help but tiptoed and pecked Naruto. Naruto touched his face. The smile on his face was even bigger. Well, this is the second one, come on, work hard, keep going. Wow. In an arena in the Death Forest, the knockout round begins. The first match of today's knockout round will be Konoha Village's Ninja Tiantian against Sunagaku's Ninja Kankuro. The loser loses the Chunin exam qualification. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at this scene with a pipe in his mouth, and then looked at the low-key fourth Cage and said with a smile, "What do you think of this knockout match?" "Very good. They can be eliminated for one round, and then they can all become Chunin in the following exhibition match. This time is the last match of the Chunin assessment in the true sense." Ha ha ha, as expected of Feng, you were right, so this knockout match will be unprecedentedly fierce. Because no one wants to be eliminated. As expected. Orochimaru smiled. After all, one of the daimyos came, and it would be unreasonable not to hold an exhibition match. This is also to let the daimyos see the strength of Konoha Village and get some financial support. As expected of Cage, it's a pity that you, Sunagaku, are so rich. When Sarutobi Hiruzen said this, he felt envious and jealous. These Sunagaku people seem to live in a desolate and remote place, but most of their ninjutsu can condense the sand in the desert. So Sunagaku is really not poor, just material scarcity. As for Konoha Village, materials are abundant, but funds are not abundant. Tiantian, come on, I'm optimistic about you, young and passionate Sailor Moon, go ahead and defeat that painted boy. I will work hard. Tian jumped down and came to the center of the field. Kankuro, who was about to do the same, staggered when he heard the nickname Might Guy gave him, and jumped down with a dark face. You will not be my opponent. Kankuro looked at Tiantian, very calm. Except for Uzumaki Naruto, Konoha Village has the information of these ninjas who participated in the Chunin exam. He has no other specialties except being too rich every day. As for throwing kunai, throwing detonating talisman. Ah, rubbish. Kankuro looked at Tiantian indifferently. Tiantian didn't take it seriously, and looked at the place where the contestants were standing, where Uzumaki Naruto was waving and smiling at her. Yes, I have been strengthened by Naruto, these days I have never slacked off, training day and night, how can I fail, and I will not allow failure. Suck. Tenten took a breath and looked at Baguro. Just let you witness the stepping stone of my rising every day. When the weather changed, the soft gaze suddenly turned cold. Well, now the game begins. Brush. When the referee's voice fell, Kankuro directly pulled out the puppet behind him, landed it in front of him, and then said with a grinning smile, Crow. Ask for flowers. Seeing this every day, he silently took out the scrolls in his ninja bag. This is the detonating talisman scroll, and each scroll contains 1,000 detonating talismans, which is the lowest end. This is the ninja scroll, and there are all kinds of ninja in it. Kankuro was stunned. Looking at Tiantian's indifferent look, he couldn't help being silent while looking at the scroll that Tiantian was holding in both hands. Is this the power of kryptonite? So scary. But how can you be my opponent? Kankuro waved his hands, and chakra linked the crow with a silk thread, ready to attack. Seeing this flick of the wrist every day, flicking the scroll that hides the detonating talisman, 1,000 detonating talismans scattered around, surrounding Kankuro. Kankuro's expression changed. Rumble. The shocking explosion spread, and Tien smiled. Naruto is really right, art as explosion, give me a blast. Rumble. The explosion continued, and Kankuro, who was surrounded by detonators, spurted out a mouthful of old blood. The Krypton Gold powerhouse is so terrifying. The key is whether the power of this detonating talisman is a bit abnormal. Why is it so powerful? This unscientific. I can't bear to learn. After finally recovering from the explosion of the detonating talisman, Kankuro was about to attack, and countless ninja tools attacked indiscriminately, and the goddess scattered flowers without any dead ends. Seeing this, Kankuro had to block a 1-2. As a result, the power of the ninja tool was not normal, and Kankuro was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. The key is also frantically bound with detonating symbols, another round of fancy explosions. Kankuro was about to cry. Is this the real Krypton Gold powerhouse? I will definitely win. I don't believe you still have so many scrolls. However, imagination is beautiful, but reality is cruel. Who is Tiantian? The #1 rich woman in Konoha Village is not a result of boasting, but a result of her hard-working strength. But seeing Tien took out a lot of scrolls from the ninja bag, looked at Kankuro calmly with raised brows, and whispered, "Continue." Kankuro was silent. "Keep hanging, you don't talk about wood." "I surrender." Kankuro raised his hand aggrievedly to admit defeat. Returning to his place, Kankuro met Gaara's indifferent expression and Temari's sympathetic gaze. "I didn't lose in ninjutsu, I lost in money." "I know." Temari expressed his understanding that Kankuro would be overwhelmed by this kind of enemy, and there is really no good way to do it. The point is that this is just a Chunin exam, and no one is foolish enough to expose their real whole cards. The essence of ninja is to announce the station. Once a ninja's information is completely collected, if it is targeted, it will be over directly. So, a Chunin exam nobody would be that stupid. Waste. Kankuro. Temari. "Yeah, I won." Tiantian here, smiling. "Hey, Tiantian, how much did you spend just now?" "A Chunin exam, is it worth it?" "It's not much, it's all small money, just sprinkle water." "God is so small." Might Guy and the others fell flat when they heard the words. These words were too shocking, so they couldn't be more tactful. "Naruto, how are you? Am I good?" "Sharp." Naruto gives a thumbs up. These abilities match Tiantian really well. The explosive power Jonin might be knocked to his knees if he is not rich. The main reason is that every day is too rich. This is the power of Krypton Gold Ninja. But don't underestimate Kankuro, he just doesn't want to be exposed. "I know." Nodding every day, he knows his weaknesses better than anyone else, and he also knows his current strengths. In the stands, Orochi was speechless. "Your ninjas in Shy Village are really wonderful." Sarutobi Hiruzen came back to his senses, his eyes flickered, and he said with a smile, "It's okay." The referee also came back to his senses, picked up Chinbin that fell to the ground, wiped it with his sleeve and continued to hold it in his mouth, loudly said, "In this game, the Konoha Village Ninja wins every day." The next round is Hyuga Hinata vs Hyuga Neji. Everyone was shocked. Cannibalism. Thousands of fun. Hearing of this fateful encounter, Naruto subconsciously looked at Hinata. Naruto didn't expect at all that Hinata still faced Neji in the changed Chunin exam, it was a joke of fate. Hinata glanced at Naruto, then at Neji. "Brother Neji, please teach me a lot." "Huh, a meeting in fate, Hinata, you are not my opponent, this is also an arrangement of fate." Neji came to the arena first. Hinata turned pale upon hearing this, and looked at Naruto again. Naruto smiled gently. "Hinata, remember, you are not fighting for someone, but for yourself. It is not difficult to prove that you are excellent." "Hinata, forget it, Hinata is such a character, she doesn't like fighting very much, let's not force her." Comfort every day. Ino also came over and signaled to Hinata, telling her not to force her too much, just show her real strength. Hinata looked at the encouragement from several people and felt relieved. "Yes, just show your own strength, you don't need to care so much about whether you win or not." Glancing at Hyuga Hiyashi in the auditorium, Hinata had a determined look on his face, and walked to Neji step by step and bent slightly, "Please give me your advice." Neji is cold. He always remembers about his father. Hyuga's caged bird, destiny. Such a person can become the future patriarch of the Hyuga family, and because he is in the branch house, his father died for the sake of the family, and he can only watch helplessly. This world, this fate. As my fate is, so is your fate, today you are doomed to fail. Quote. Hyuga Hiyashi looked at the two Hyuga family members below, looking at Neji softly. Despite the intensity of his words, it is undeniable that Neji is a true genius, learning Gentle Fist without a teacher, and learning some Hyuga martial arts on top of Gentle Fist. In Hinata, by contrast, little progress has been made. In fact, Hinata is very talented, but she just didn't put her mind on practice, even if she was forced every day, but Hyuga Hiyashi found that doing so was counterproductive. This made Hinata hate training even more and avoid practicing. On the contrary, Hanabi seems to be very talented in this aspect, and has a high enthusiasm for cultivation. Forget it, this number is useless in terms of the patriarch of the clan, and now we can only look at Hanabi's future. This battle is destined to be without surprises. Fate, perhaps. Hinata, come on. Hinata, come on. Ino, they cheer for Hinata every day. Naruto on the side also looked at Hinata encouragingly. Hyuga Hiyashi, you have successfully aroused Hyuga Hiyashi's speechless emotion, the critical hit is 10 times, and you get 8 trigrams, empty palm. Naruto subconsciously looked at Hyuga Hiyashi. Then he looked at Hinata again. Even if Hinata loses today, I believe she can surprise those who underestimated her. Because, Hinata has transformed and is different from her original self. Hinata is actually very serious. It's a pity that she has no talent in cultivation. Anyway, she's also our teammate. Hey, Uzumaki Naruto, you don't underestimate her, do you? How come? Hearing Kurano Yuhi and the others' words, Naruto twitched. Am I such a person? Naruto looked at the resolute Hinata, with tenderness in his heart. It's really not possible. Let's cheat. If you don't have talent in cultivation, I'll help you cheat, drive a Tenseigan out, and blind their titanium alloy dog eyes. Please advise. Hinata put on a gentle fist stance. Neji sneered at this, and also put on a stance slightly. Hey, Hinata's pupils rolled, and the white eyes opened. The lavender halo flickered and flowed around the whole body, as if there was a weak flame circulating. Noble, elegant, mysterious. All aspects of ability began to improve significantly. Hinata herself is known as the white-eyed princess, and her blood concentration is so high that even Otsutsuki on the moon is coveted, and wants to pull Hinata to marry him to have a child. One can imagine how terrifying the concentration of Hinata's blood is. Developed in the Naruto mode, the ability has skyrocketed, and there is still some distance from opening Tenseigan, but Tenseigan's ability has begun to show. This is something Naruto didn't expect. Naruto thought it would take a long time to turn on Tenseigan, but something incredible happened to Hinata. What's this? Hyuga Hiyashi stood up abruptly. Behind him, one counts as one, but all the members of the Hyuga family stood up in shock. Patriarch, what is this? Bayan's new ability. Yeah, Patriarch, you are not authentic, you don't even say that, you hide it deeply enough. I know what the hell, when did Hinata have this ability? It seems that it is not easy to know. Could it be that the Hyuga family can also evolve eyes like the Uchiha family? This is truly a remarkable discovery. Oh, your ninjas in Konoha village really had a lot of accidents. The day just now was not easy, her detonating charms and ninja tools were a bit abnormal. But it's this girl who is even more abnormal. Isn't this a supercilious look? Probably, perhaps, it should be. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed dryly. As the shadow of a village, he didn't notice these changes at all. This Hokage really failed. Orochimaru smiled slightly, his eyes crossed many spaces and fixed on Naruto. According to Yakushi Kabuto's information, these two girls have an affair with Naruto, so their changes must be directly related to Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto's strength itself is abnormal, and the strength of these two girls is also terrible, so what about the other one? Orochimaru glanced at Yamanaka Ino, who stood beside Naruto and cheered for Hinata. If this person's strength is abnormal, it is enough to show that all these changes are related to Naruto. Naruto-kun, I'm looking forward to it. Orochimaru leaned back in the chair, and looked at the scene in front of him with a smile. Needless to say, Mr. Sarutobi Hiruzen must be very upset. It seems that there is a feeling that things are beyond expectations, teacher. It's really interesting. Pretentious, guided by fate, I will definitely be able to defeat you. Neji's complexion also changed, and he stepped forward, rushing forward. Hinata's eyes flickered. In the past, Brother Neji was very fast in front of her, but now he felt abnormally slow. She seemed to be able to firmly sense the method and position of Brother Neji's next attack. Is this the power Naruto gave me? Hinata realized clearly, and struck out with a light palm. Snapped, snapped, snapped. The two fought together in an instant. I have to say that Neji's combat talent is very high, but Hinata's is not. There is a little difference in ability between the two, and they can still fight back and forth, back and forth. But as time passed, Neji gradually became a little bit too much. Hinata's hands are too heavy. The seemingly weak and boneless hand slapped over nimbly, attacking the terrifying calendar area seemingly lightly. Neji knew without looking, that his body was full of red spots. Chakra seems to be truncated in some places. Brother Neji, as long as you choose the right person, your fate can also be changed to another branch. Hinata drank lightly. The more you beat her, the more confident she becomes. That's right, as long as she follows Naruto's pace, she can also take a look at the scenery on the top of the mountain in the future, instead of feeling sad here. Metamorphosis. Hinata is transforming. Confidence is gradually condensing. Looking at Neji, who is a little embarrassed, Hinata's eyes are even more purple halo. I must follow in Naruto's footsteps. Anyone who stands in front of me is an enemy. Hinata took a step forward and slapped Neji's chest. Puff! Neji vomited blood and flew upside down, falling to the ground in embarrassment, staring at the sky blankly. Fate seems to have really changed. Are you following the right person? Miss Hinata, are you talking about Uzumaki Naruto? It's incredible. If fate can be changed. Neji's eyes became brighter and brighter. Then can the so-called caged bird be broken, can it be truly alive, and not for the clan? Fate can be changed, so this must be. Standing up with difficulty, Neji looked at Hinata, felt his own body, smiled wryly and shook his head. Hinata, you have grown up and gained great strength, but this is not enough. Naruto's strength is stronger than you think, and you just barely won. Hinata's expression changed. This is true, she also feels powerless now, and the veins in many places have been cut off by Neji. You used to be cowardly and incompetent. I never thought you could be the head of a family, especially the head of the Hyuga family. But now I have to admit that you have changed your destiny and have this qualification. I will also follow the trajectory of fate and break it. Neji's voice is powerful. Hinata can do it, why can't I? I surrender. Neji's voice made Hinata and others' faces change. Hyuga Hiyashi sat down on the chair with disbelief all over his face. That weak and incompetent Hinata defeated Hyuga Neji, a rare genius of the Hyuga family, in a head-to-head battle, which is somewhat incredible no matter how you look at it. 1. Cheering with Ino every day, Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino looked stunned. Is this Hinata? Hinata who needs their care during training? Why does it feel like they were completely abused by Hinata when they faced each other? My good fellow, you actually hid it so deeply. Yuhi Hong touched her eyes silently, and subconsciously disturbed her chakra. Nothing abnormal, not an illusion. You successfully aroused Hyuga Neji's curiosity, 100 times the critical strike, and obtained 8 trigrams, 6 fields and 4 palms. Hinata, this little girl, she really surprised me by bursting out with such power all of a sudden. You're just kidding. Ino came to his senses and couldn't understand Naruto's embarrassing look. The three of us are all tightly controlled by you. Obviously they should be jealous, they should be arguing, they should fight to the death, but in the end they feel that this is inappropriate. It's really weird. Naruto's charm is too great, I can't stop it, and I can't stop it every day, Hinata. Forget it, this girl is even more irresistible. I don't know if the vortex Kafos that just moved in next to Naruto can block it. Ino muttered, and finally smiled wryly. Forget it, this guy has been manipulated to death in this life, and I also enjoy it, so why not? Single quote. Congratulations Hinata, and Neji, your youth has just begun, you have to cheer up. Don't worry Mr. Guy, I will cheer up, don't worry. That's right, that's it, Neji, you are also my target, you can't fall down. Xiao Li laughed loudly, and then quietly approached Xiao Sakura. Little Sakura subconsciously took a step back. The battles that followed were also exciting. Finally, Xiao Li still lost to Gaara and suffered many injuries all over his body. Fortunately, Naruto stabilized his injuries, but some injuries were still difficult to heal. Ahem, senior brother, you don't need to show such an expression, I have already proved myself. Even if you can't train in the future. Having said that, Xiaoji's face darkened. He is strong enough, but Gaara, the turtle shell, is stronger. At this moment, he recalled Naruto's entrustment when he went up to fight, and felt speechless to see Naruto for a while. You successfully aroused Xiao Li's shameful emotions, the critical strike was 10 times higher, and he obtained the Black Jade Intermittent Ointment. Naruto, good guy, these things are here, this is the heavens that Xiao Li will not be so decadent. But seeing the effect, Naruto's heart was half cold again. This does have an effect on Xiao Li's injury, but Xiao Li can't do too much training in the future, it's no different from killing Xiao Li. Naruto silently put on Xiao Li. It seems that looking for Tsunade seems to be on the agenda again. But Naruto didn't care, looking for Tsunade itself was part of his choice, because Tsunade, as one of the legendary Sannin, must have many things that can crit. Keep 2 birds with 1 stone. Don't worry, I will definitely find a way to make you heal. Since the Black Jade Intermittent Ointment can be burst out, other powerful medicines can also be burst out, Naruto believes, as long as he is given time. Next, Ino's battle really surprised everyone present. That heart-turning technique still has this ability. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Uzumaki Naruto, it really is you. Single quote. It's getting more and more interesting. Uzumaki Naruto, my curiosity about you now is like the water in the valley of the end, endless. If possible, I must take you back to my laboratory. Then, in a short while, Konoha's collapse plan begins. With a chuckle, Orochimaru got up and left slowly. This kind of leisure time is really good. This is already the second day after the knockout round. Many ninjas have been eliminated, and the rest are all ninja elites with extraordinary strength. I believe the next match will be very interesting. But Naruto didn't care. He instantly killed his opponent yesterday and got a lot of critical strikes in an instant, but there were not many good things, and they were all repeated. This is scum. Sasuke and little Sakura went to training again. These two people were crushed by me too badly. They could only work hard. It's a pity, you don't understand the life of cheating. Open. A voice came from behind. Naruto turned his head and saw only a touch of white, got up and leaned over to take a look. The corners of his mouth twitched, his brows beaming with joy. I rely on. I have seen Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, but I did not expect Jiraiya to stay in Konoha village. When did you come back? Little ghost, you seem to be very happy to see me. Of course, idol. Naruto looked admiring. I heard that you live in some kind of hotel every day outside, and you are very comfortable. I just want to ask, are you worthy? Jiraiya's face froze. You have successfully caused Jiraiya to feel depressed and want to vomit blood, get 100 times critical strike, and get the perfect version of Mount Myoboku Sage Mode. Naruto's eyeballs popped. You just arrived, and you gave me a big surprise. It is Sage Mode, and it is the perfect version. Naruto takes a casual look. Mount Myoboku version Sage Mode perfect level. You can enter the Sage Mode state at will for 10 minutes. Sharp. Naruto's eyes light up. The 4 words, random entry, were used well. He sensed them carefully, and indeed he could sense a kind of magical power around him. He couldn't sense it before, but now he can clearly feel it and use it, and it won't turn into strange things like stones. He can handle it perfectly. But only for 10 minutes. It's a pity, but it's only natural. This natural energy is poisonous, and if it is not good, it will turn into a stone or a snake, which is very weird. But why do I feel that this natural energy is so familiar, like a kind of energy in the water of spiritual energy? Is it really spiritual energy, but it is called differently? Naruto mused. So why does the natural energy of this ninja world become so treacherous? Boy, who told you this? Who made the rumor? I will tear him up. Jiraiya pissed off. Am I that kind of person? I'm just looking deep and then going to write my famous book, is that wrong? It makes sense. Quote. Day. Person E. Naruto keeps nodding. You were right. What do you mean, kid? Jiraiya wanted to vomit blood seeing this scene. You are too perfunctory. Tell me, what's the outside world like? Pretty. Jiraiya was elated when he heard the words. He seemed to have found a soulmate. Bala began to tell. Let me tell you, if you don't go out, you don't know the vastness outside. Hey, I used to be ignorant. There are good things outside, and each has its own merits. But let me say, it's better to be a ninja. I went to a place where the ninja leader wanted to beat me and let me stay with her. Do you think it's possible? Impossible. Naruto shook his head decisively. You Jiraiya is not such a person. You really know me too well, so of course I sternly refuse, but I also want to make a marriage contract for a certain relative of mine, so that her daughter can come to Konoha village when she grows up. According to the time, it should have been a few years. Hey, why am I telling you this? Jiraiya laughed at herself. I haven't been back for a long time, and people have become a bit nagging. But why do you look familiar to me? What's your name? Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto grinned. Puff. Jiraiya spit out a mouthful of water upon hearing this, dumbfounded. Feelings I said the protagonist is by my side. Uzumaki Naruto is this guy. I looked Naruto up and down a few times, and the more I looked at it, the more familiar it became. This is really similar to Minato and that little girl Kukina. You have successfully aroused Jiraiya's collapsed emotions, tripled the crit, and gained the duration of Sage Mode plus 3 minutes. Not bad. Jiraiya's crits are pretty good. Is it because of the famous reason? Naruto silently calculated. It seems that it is true. The things Orochimaru gave are also good, but it seems that it is not as powerful as Jiraiya's crit. What rhythm is this? Is there a difference between intimacy and distance? Hey, you haven't said anything bad about anyone yet. No one. In the eyes of the people of Konoha village, you are a ninja they respect, and you are also a pervert. So they say fire, theft, and Jiraiya. I'm so. Jiraiya was depressed. Who spread this, such a rumor? I think it's good, at least I'm famous. Jiraiya. I think you're finding fault. No, absolutely not, in fact I still admire you. Yes, that's right, Naruto is really envious of Jiraiya. As for adoration, Naruto smiled when he thought about the 3 little girls in the village. Worship is an emotion that can only be produced if the difference is too great. As far as my own strength is concerned, do I still need to worship others? Dream. Well, how about the Chunin exam this time? Well enough, Naruto replied very flatly, and Jiraiya raised his eyebrows. Why, such a tone? It seems that the test is not very good, maybe even eliminated, but I am too embarrassed to say it. He couldn't understand this kind of thinking, so he didn't ask, but changed his tone. Boy, seeing that you are also a fellow, why don't I take you to a place where, follow me. Jiraiya waved her hands with a smirk. She didn't expect to come back this time just to follow Orochimaru's footsteps, but she met such an interesting kid. The most important thing is Minato's son, who is in the same line with him. Jiraiya suddenly felt that he was not alone in his own way. There were teachers teaching him, and heirs living below him. His life seemed to be full of life. Pity Tsunade, pity Orochimaru. It would be nice if they came back to Konoha village too. Here, Jiraiya descended into a valley, and Naruto followed. Jiraiya looked at Rengen Naruto sideways, with magical eyes. This Naruto does not look simple, he has already increased the speed intentionally or unintentionally, but Naruto can still keep up. Jiraiya also takes a high look at this speed and endurance. But thinking that Naruto has the physique of the Uzumaki clan, he smiled in relief. This physique is indeed very suitable for being a ninja. They have the most chakra in the ninja world, and they can have huge chakra at a young age. Here is. Naruto's face is bright. Isn't this the place where those girls take a bath? But he never let Hinata and the others come here to take a bath, and if they want to wash, they can wash at home. No way. There are too many pornographic reviews in the ninja world, otherwise such divine books as Intimacy to Heaven would not be popular in the whole ninja world. Moreover, they come and go high and high, and they are good at keeping secrets. This kind of people is really hard to guard against. You know where it is. I know, I come here to relax occasionally. Although I am still young, I also have a heart to explore. Fellows. Jiraiya patted Naruto's shoulder. You are a good boy, I am optimistic about you, and you will be a handsome boy when you grow up in the future. That's right, I'm also handsome. Good. Jiraiya scraped through the bushes, took out a spotting telescope from his ninja bag, and admired it happily. You have successfully aroused Jiraiya's joyful emotions, the critical strike is 9 times, and the Chaos Lion hair technique is obtained. Naruto silently put it away, and took out a spotting telescope from his ninja bag. There are not many hobbies in this life, watching the scenery is one of them. You can comment on it in your heart, don't have a taste. Not bad, right? Good. Naruto nodded casually. He hadn't been here for a long time, not because he didn't have to look at it, but because it was just like that after a long time. No ball, stick figure, flat face, nothing interesting. The requirements are quite high. Unexpectedly for Jiraiya, this Uzumaki Naruto feels a bit like that, you can see it at a young age, and you are picky. Forget it, I'll go back first, you always take your time. Naruto put away the binoculars and put them back in the ninja bag, then turned and left gracefully. Jiraiya looked at Naruto, then looked at the binoculars, and decided to choose the handheld binoculars. As for his curious Uzumaki Naruto, he was in the village anyway and couldn't run away. I didn't expect to meet Jiraiya here, it seems that he also noticed something. But forget it, as far as his thoughts are concerned, Orochimaru has sternly suppressed him, and he will probably be lured away soon. However, we still need to wait a few days before we can start the last level. It's really cumbersome. Looking at the people coming and going, Naruto shook his head. He doesn't like this kind of thing. If he can, he would prefer to spend his days leisurely, just like now, without worrying about money, and there is nothing to worry about. It would be even better if there are things like computers, mobile phones, and handhelds. No one is born to like turmoil, and most people like a flat life, and Naruto is not surprised. Go home and eat meat. By the way, call Shikamaru and the others. It's been a long time since we got together. Naruto turned around and went directly to Hyuga's house. Hey, I haven't been back to Konoha village for a long time, and the quality of the thick leaves has dropped a lot. After all, Jiraiya has seen the world, and soon became dull, looked around, and Naruto really left. Forget it, because I'm a third-generation old man. Throw the binoculars into the ninja bag, and walk towards Konoha village after a few ups and downs. The current Konoha village has changed so much that I almost don't know it anymore. Fortunately, this telescope is still there, and it is still maintained so well. The old man of third generation is still the same as before. Glancing at the binoculars not far from the bathhouse, Jiraiya walked leisurely on the street. Since all kinds of weird ninjas have come to Konoha village recently, many people have long been used to seeing, but he is just an old man with white hair. It's not a big deal. Uzumaki Naruto is really good. Why is he so good? That demon fox should have died a long time ago. I really don't know what third Hokage thinks. Now that he is so powerful, he should be even more arrogant. Shish, third generation doesn't allow us to say that. Fox, Uzumaki Naruto, is it amazing? Am I missing something? Jiraiya's eyes flashed, and she planned to investigate the news. The news is not hidden at all, it will come soon. He also investigated the information he wanted. Defeat the ghost and then not beheaded. Chunin took the exam and killed 2 ninjas in seconds at the end of the Death Forest, and brought back an orphan of the Uzumaki clan. Kill opponents in knockout rounds. There are also 3 childhood sweethearts. What kind of magical operation is this? Jiraiya was dumbfounded. This is so many times stronger than he was back then. This kid has Minato's genes. No, this is blue out of blue is better than blue, even better than Minato. Minato just found 1, Uzumaki Naruto directly found 3, and that's not all. Jiraiya figured out the background of the next 3 people and his face suddenly became very exciting. Hyuga Hinata, the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan, has no bad habits. Yamanaka Ino, the eldest lady of the Yamanaka family, has no bad habits and likes to sell flowers. Tien, this is a bit confusing, but her family is famously rich, and she is a little rich woman. Above, they are 3 little rich women, and they are also white and rich. They did such a big thing without making a sound. The key is why the 3 of them don't fight or quarrel, but are still in harmony. How did this work? Jiraiya's eyes lit up, and he seemed to want this ability too. Jiraiya was shocked. He needs to be strong and capable, and he needs to have good looks, and he is also a sunny boy, and he is occasionally bad, and everyone likes it. I'm so blind. The corner of Jiraiya's mouth twitched. He thought Naruto was not strong and was eliminated, and his feelings were because he thought too much. The truth of the matter is completely opposite to what I thought. Exclamation mark. You have successfully aroused Jiraiya's shocking emotions. The critical strike is 50 times, and you get massive Rasengan. You have successfully aroused Jiraiya's envious emotions. The critical strike is 10 times, and the duration of Sage Mode is +1 minute. Naruto. Jiraiya must have heard his tales. It is true that a person sits at home and hits the sky. Really fragrant. I feel like I can't take it anymore. The bachelor apartment on the 2nd floor where Naruto lived was very small, so they simply moved to the corridor to eat and drink. Ino scratched his head in distress. My dad has been looking at me strangely since yesterday, so I almost asked. But I don't know how to say it. I can't explain it either. This is what Naruto gave to them, not to the family, so he said that it cannot be passed down to medicine at all. What's wrong with this? She didn't want to pass it on either. After all, this is bestowed by Naruto, and she needs to seek Naruto's consent. Tien smiled. I'm fine, I'm alone and some guards in Konoha village, no one cares about me. Single quote. My lord father asked me yesterday. Hinata said weakly. I said that I don't know, I just feel that the ability to roll eyes is increasing, and I have the current ability naturally. They believed it. Yes, they believed it. What the hell? Ino and the others were dumbfounded, and the corners of their mouths twitched. That's okay. If I had known that I would use this reason to prevaricate, it seemed good. Because ninja bloodlines and abilities are very strange, many blood inheritance boundaries appeared indiscriminately, and then were exploited and utilized by others. That's why it's the size it is now. She can also say the same, without losing a piece of meat. Don't be under pressure. As your strength becomes stronger and stronger, they will naturally not ask too much. For them, having a strong ninja in their family is something to be happy about, isn't it? Naruto was right. Tien took a sip of the water of spiritual energy. Well, she was a bit reluctant to finish it in one gulp. Naruto glanced, and subconsciously imagined some kind of picture in his mind. The old man blushed and coughed dryly. The last Chunin exam will be in a few days, you have to be prepared. Be careful. Be careful. Hearing Naruto's words, the faces of the three girls all changed. Did Naruto know something? That I want to ask a question. Ino looked at Naruto weakly. I heard that you were a crow's mouth, so is something really going to happen in Konoha village? Naruto's face darkened. Whoever made the rumor, there is nothing at all. Seeing Naruto so swearingly spreading rumors, the three women looked at Naruto very strangely. They thought about it carefully, and it seemed that it was not really that heavy. You have successfully aroused Hyuga Hinata's suspicion, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have obtained the golden jade clothes. You have successfully aroused Yamanaka Ino's suspicion, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have obtained the wish-fulfilling stone. You have successfully aroused Tien's doubts, the critical strike has been increased by 11 times, and you have obtained the Rui stone. The 3 wish-fulfilling stones together. This speed is really fast. And there is also a female magic weapon clothes, which are similar to my own, and they are the kind that add weak defense and can avoid dust. Wait until the 3 pieces are collected and give them a big surprise. You have successfully aroused the fidgety mood of the ghost man, the critical strike is tripled, and the power of the water body has been strengthened. You successfully aroused Bai's helpless emotions, quadrupled the critical strike, and got a piece of clothing from a big boss in women's clothing. You have successfully aroused the longing emotion of the vortex fragrant phosphorus, the critical strike is 5 times, and the perception ability has been strengthened. What the hell? Naruto integrated the other 2 light clusters into his body, and looked at the critical strike contributed by Shiro. 1 piece of clothing for a boss in women's clothing. Put it on, you can look, sound, and check that you are all women. It is a must-have clothing for people who travel at home and have bad intentions. I'm cracked. Naruto was dumbfounded, this crit blow can really explode anything. All these things, Naruto fantasized about putting on this beautiful dress, going to take a bath with some beautiful girls outside, and sticking together. Puff. Naruto covered his nose, the picture was so beautiful that he couldn't bear to look directly at it. No, so I won't do this kind of thing. This kind of clothes can be given white. This guy just loves women's wear, and he never tires of it. Thinking of Bai, Naruto felt a little helpless. This guy often went out in women's clothing and walked in Konoha village, attracting a lot of wolves. In the end I told them I was a man. Naruto could even see the heartbroken and broken expressions of those people. It's too awful. I really didn't expect Bai to have such a hobby. However, Naruto can tell that Bai simply likes to wear women's clothing, which is meaningless. It is estimated that he also felt that it would be more concealed if he dressed as a woman. Naruto doesn't quite understand Shiro's thoughts anyway. But he is indeed very gentle and doesn't like fighting. He is very satisfied with his current life now, but he is a little irritable if he doesn't cut it. In the past, running around every day felt very fulfilling, but now it seems that he is in retirement, which makes him feel uncomfortable. If you have time to give by, let him be more attractive, maybe it will be very interesting. I don't know why there is another game, and it seems like this last game is waiting for me in front of a lot of people. I feel like a clown. The Chunin exam at the Ninja World level is like this, and every village will hold it, this time it's just our turn in Konoha village. Used to it. Hinata knew a little more, nodded and said, yes, this time, if you perform well this time, you can ask the higher authorities to get more funds, and then Konoha village can do a lot of things. Naruto raised an eyebrow. He understands this operation, it's just for show. Remember to hide your clumsiness. No, this time, I will definitely shine in the exam. Sasuke, who was training, touched the curse mark on his neck subconsciously, thinking of the ninjutsu taught by Kakashi. Sasuke gritted his teeth and continued to practice. I still have to get stronger. I will do whatever it takes to become stronger. Sasuke's face was firm, and he tortured himself to his heart's content. Such hard work, such talent, Sasuke, if you don't become stronger, there is no reason at all. I look forward to the day when you succeed. Kakashi looked sideways while hugging the heaven of intimacy, and chuckled lightly, feeling a little relieved. Sasuke is working so hard, Naruto is so strong, what about me? How should I go? Little Sakura looked at the hardworking Sasuke, and suddenly felt very unwilling when thinking of the monstrous Naruto. If this goes on like this, it seems that I can only hold a candle to it, being pulled further and further away by them, until I am no longer in the same world, not in the same dimension. How can I be worthy of Sasuke like this? Where are my strengths? Little Sakura was confused. Suddenly, her heart moved and she thought of Naruto. The three who became friends with Naruto became very strong, and this time the Chunin exam was even more brilliant, and I, who were all about the same age, barely won. Why is this so? Is it related to Naruto? Little Sakura pursed her lips, turned around resolutely and walked in the direction of Naruto's house. She's going to ask. You successfully aroused Haruno Sakura's depressed emotions, quadruple the critical strike, and gained chakra's control enhancement. Naruto, who was chatting and joking with Hinata and the others, paused, and continued, "Come on, I'm free today, let's buckle." Double buttons. Zabujan and Bai, who were lying by the window watching, looked over. After fighting the landlord, is there a new way to play? It seems that it is a game played by 4 people, and it seems to be involved, but after thinking about it, I still don't want to go out to disturb, now it is the world of the 4 of them. I said, Naruto can really stop the conquest of 3 people. Do not cut again to express doubts. Bai is very calm. Maybe, after 3 days, rest for 4 days, or 1 month. Well, it's possible. Hey. Bai smiled. Mr. Zabujan has changed a lot since he came to Konoha village, and he can still joke. Xianglin leaned against the window, watching this scene enviously. I don't know if she can join in. It should be. Can't. They are all the charming daughters of the sky, and I am just an ugly duckling. You have successfully aroused Uzumaki's inferiority complex, the critical strike is 10 times higher, and you have gained Kagura's mind. Ninjutsu of sentience. Naruto turned his eyelids and glanced at the location of Xianglin. Her childhood experience made her feel inferior now. But trust me, it will all be fine with time. Because she has some good neighbors. Neji, come with me. Hyuga's house. Hyuga Hiyashi found Neji. As for Hinata, since he saw her ability yesterday, he knew that he had nothing to hand over except some basics. Simply let her go to Naruto. Naruto, what an incredible existence. Some people don't care, because they don't know, even the 3rd generation is still a bit foggy. But he is Hinata's father, so he can see clearly. He wouldn't believe it if he said it had nothing to do with Naruto. Yes, Neji followed Hyuga Hiyashi obediently. It's time to tell him about Hyuga Hizashi, it can't be kept hidden forever. Everyone has their own thing, everyone is training hard. Some people want to stand out, and some people just want to pass the Chunin exam. But whatever their purpose, a few days passed in a blink of an eye. The last round of the Chunin exam has officially arrived. There was a lot of voices and bustle, and many people sat in their seats and looked down expectantly. There stood the most elite members of this Chunin exam. Their battle must be exciting. Shiranui Genma held Chinbin in his mouth, watching this lively scene with a little emotion. This is the first time I have seen such a situation. Quote. Naruto and the others sat in the competition seats, quietly waiting for the start of the last stage of the Chunin exam. Brother, come on. Naruto, come on. Xiao Li and Might Guy's eyes sparkled. You must get a good grade. That's right, you are my approved disciple. Shameless. Kakashi stood on the sidelines and watched with cold eyes. When he heard Might Guy's words, he couldn't hold back anymore. You are so embarrassed to say these words. When did Naruto agree to be your disciple? He is my student now, understand? Might Guy didn't take it seriously, he looked away. People just have to be shameless. You see that Naruto has not clearly objected now, has he? This is the result. You successfully aroused Might Guy's shameful emotions, the critical strike was 22 times, and the physique was strengthened. Naruto blended it into his body casually, feeling the growing physique in his body but also looking around, and then he fixed his eyes on a person. This person is dressed as Anbu, with an animal mask on his face. But Naruto's perception is fully activated, and he sees through this guy, Yakushi Kabuto, right away. Sure enough, he was here too. After looking at the so-called 4th cage next to Sarutobi Hiruzen, it was Orochimaru. I really look forward to the arrival of the new era. Naruto stretched his body and smiled. Konoha village will become a little more harmonious after this time. People keep coming, until there are no empty seats, and there are still many people coming, and the noise is so loud that it is a headache. Genma Shiranui looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen on the stage, and Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded slightly when he saw this. Shiranui Xuanjian saw that there was 1,000 books in his mouth, took out a big horn, and coughed dryly, ahem. Now, the final battle of the Chunin exam officially begins. Let's invite the first team of ninjas, Haruno Sakura vs Yamanaka Ino. Crash. The applause was loud, everyone looked at the arena expectantly, and the atmosphere gradually became tense. Beginning, Lord Orochimaru, the rest is up to you. Yakushi Kabuto pulled his coat and hat, pushed his glasses, and began to make mudras with his hands, forbearance, nirvana abode technique. Moment. White feathers fell from the entire arena, falling on people and ninjas. Large illusion. Nirvana abode technique. Not long after the beginning, most of the people fell into a deep sleep, only a few people were not hit by this large illusion and were still very awake. What happened? Seeing this sudden change, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly changed color. This is a Grand Chunin exam in Konoha village, and there must be no accidents, so there are a lot of ninjas lurking around Konoha village. But forgive me, and Ishii was still tricked. Who is it? Sarutobi Hiruzen is also a person with a keen mind, and his eyes instantly fixed on Orochimaru. That's right, it's me. Teacher, long time no see. Orochimaru chuckled, and threw away the Cage royal robe on his body, revealing his true colors. Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen's liver and gallbladder were split, he gasped, his scalp went numb for a moment. It's all a bureau, a terrifying trap for Konoha village. Kakashi. Sasuke. Little Sakura. Sure enough, just get used to it, get used to it. This time it's even more exaggerated. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe for more videos.